Through the years, one thing has remained constant. The Orioles organization has been the most respected in all of professional sports. It started 40 years ago when Major League Baseball returned to the city of Baltimore after an absence of more than half a century. While the team struggled on the field at first, a foundation was being built for years to come. The city enjoyed a resurgence in the mid-60s, and it was no coincidence that it coincided with the play of its baseball team. And in 1966, the Orioles secured their first world championship. Then, just 4 years later, the Orioles brought home their second championship when they stopped the Big Red Machine. The heroes from those championships soon became Baltimore icons, like Frank and Brooks and Mr. Cy Young himself, Jim Palmer. After a world championship in 1983, the Orioles' success on the field went into a decline, finally bottoming out in 1988 when the team lost a club record 107 games. However, the 90s bring hope under new owner and hometown product Peter Angelos. Mr. Angelos during the offseason demonstrated a serious commitment to winning as he spent the money needed to bring in some of the game's biggest names, and his work hasn't gone unnoticed.
Mr. Angelos has come in, hometown person, and it's evident right from the beginning that winning is the most important thing. And making some of the moves that he's made to improve the club, although there's no secret formula that's going to just make you jump from your present situation into the World Series, you feel excited about the prospects of what we've done, and we have an opportunity and a chance to take it to the next level and win the pennant. So from a player's perspective, it really feels good that the management's goal is very clear, that we're going to try to help us win the pennant.
Stay tuned as a new era begins in Baltimore. The Orioles Television Network presents Major League Baseball. Today from Oriole Park at Camden Yards, it's the Orioles against the Kansas City Royals. April 4th, 1994, opening day with the Orioles and the Royals, the start of a new era filled with high expectations. Hello, everybody, and welcome to opening day. I'm Mel Proctor along with John Lowenstein. During the offseason, new owner Peter Angelos committed roughly $43 million to free agents in an effort to improve this club. There's an extra excitement in the air. Of course, opening day is always exciting, but something a little extra this year. And maybe skipper Johnny Oates summed it up best when he said, when we take the field today, at least we know we have a chance to win.
Oh, I agree, Mel. Angelos and company, they've made up that one-run differential that existed between them and the Blue Jays for so many years. And with the addition of, just for two, the Palmeiro at first and Sabo at third base, that is increased run production right now. And with the emergence of Hammonds in right field, there can be a lot of activity on the base paths that we didn't see the last couple of years, and that's what's got everyone excited this season.
Well, Mike Messina will be the opening day pitcher today, opposing Kevin Apier, the Royals ace. But on Wednesday, Ben Mcdonald will start for the Orioles. He's had an outstanding spring. Jim Palmer will visit with Big Ben when we return after this commercial break.
The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Frequent flyers on most airlines are thousands of miles from a free trip. But on Southwest Airlines, our company club frequent flyer members are only 8 short round trips away. Southwest Airlines Company Club, the shortest route to free trips.
Anybody can clean in the middle of the floor. Here we clean corners, behind doors, ceilings.
Great job, Michael.
I know people that don't even look at ceilings. Every person in my department, we just do more. That's why this is the cleanest hospital in Baltimore. No, in Maryland. No, this is the cleanest hospital in America. Yeah.
HTS in April. It's time for Orioles baseball. It's playoff drive crunch time for the Cavs. It's spoiler time for the Bullets. It's time for ACC lacrosse. ACC baseball. It's time for the stars of tennis, the Boston Marathon, and much, much more. It's a great time in April on HTS.
Welcome back to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. As you can see, the grounds crew busy getting the field in shape, and the opening pitch is not far away. Mike Messina will pitch today for the Orioles, but on Wednesday, Ben Mcdonald gets the call, and he's standing by with Jim Palmer. Jim?
Thank you, Mel. I'm with Ben Mcdonald, as you just said. You just commented it's a circus down here. What's opening day mean for you?
Oh, it's excitement. You know, it's what you work so hard for in the off season to get to opening day, and what you work so hard for in spring training is to be healthy, number one, and to go into a season with great expectations. And this ball club has a lot of them.
Talk about health. I think a lot of people concerned with your arm, as you were. You had an MRI, what, on Saturday?
Right.
Tell us about the condition, because you did have an excellent spring.
I felt like I was right where I wanted to be all spring. I threw the ball pretty good. I felt real good, and just all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the elbow came up a little sore and had a little fluid build up back there, swelled up on me. And anytime you get a pain, you know how that is in a different area, it worries you a little bit, and that was the case. So we went through all the precautions, and all the tests were negative. It's just a little inflammation. I did throw on the side yesterday. I felt pretty good. I don't think I'm quite at 100%, but hopefully another week we can knock this thing out and I'll be right where I want to be.
Are you a little remiss you're not the opening day pitcher today?
Yeah, I went through that a little bit this year. I felt like that I pitched well enough last year to deserve that shot to pitch opening day, but Johnny didn't see it that way. You know, every pitcher would like the opportunity to throw opening day, but you know, maybe it'll happen next year. I got a job to do this year, and I'm pitching the second game, and it's all over with now. You know, I wish Mike the best of luck.
Okay, we'll have a happy and a healthy 1994. We'll be back after these words with more Orioles opening day festivities.
It's got a new cover, it's got a new name, but on the inside it's exactly the same. It's the real fine, genuine, more choices, gold mine, yellow pages from Bell Atlantic.
Presenting the genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. Same book, new name. 9 out of 10 use it. The genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages.
Real fine, genuine, more choices, gold mine, yellow pages from Bell Atlantic. Same book, new name.
This is where I clean and catalog every shirt in my collection. This is a color that was outlawed. Oh, this is the enemy of the t-shirt, the dryer. Always hang dry, always. See, this is what happens when you put a full-sized, oversized t-shirt in the dryer. Bad. This is unusable.
If you love t-shirts, play the Maryland Lottery's New Scratch Baseball. Win up to $500 plus this collectible tee.
This place chops, slices, seasons, cooks. Unlike most fast food places, folks at Popeyes actually do cook. Chopping to slicing, marinating to battering.
This place cooks.
New Orleans-style chicken, never frozen.
This place cooks. Yes, I cook.
Popeyes.
You cook.
No, I'm just the announcer. Here to say that right now, get 5 pieces for just $3.99 or 9 pieces for just $5.99. That is great.
And so are you.
Why, thank you.
Yes, this place cooks. Cook.
Popeyes.
It cooks.
Here's what it's like to spend a few moments with Capital star Dale Hunter during the Caps playoff drive.
Now Dale Hunter is there, and they score!
Now the Islanders face an entire game with Dale Hunter and the Capitals. Tuesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Fair warning.
Friday, it's the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener. Off-season, the O's raided the Rangers for slugger Raphael Palmeiro. Now, Jose Canseco and company aim to pay back our power-packed O's. The WNUV 54 Orioles season opener, Friday at 7:30 on WNUV 54.
New owner Peter Angelos and the governor of the state of Maryland, William Donald Schaefer, among those eagerly awaiting the start of opening day here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, along with a capacity crowd still making its way into the ballpark. And we'll return with the introductions of the Orioles and the Kansas City Royals in just a moment.
Grandpa Shaq, tell us how basketball used to be.
Well, the basket wasn't always 20 feet tall.
What about 100-yard courts?
Not even close.
What happened?
All sport.
New All Sport. Unsurpassed taste. A third more carbs than Gatorade for energy. This is a body quencher.
After All Sport, the game was a breeze. Until they put in the moving basket.
All Sport. The game will never be the same.
You can't use a mobile phone to tell your boss you're running late.
It's at 2:45, right?
To tell your client you're stuck in traffic.
But, where is he?
Or tell your wife your car's broken down.
Temperature dropping rapidly towards this evening. The showers...
Unless...
Hello?
The call goes through. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile.
Eat 5 a day? Me?
I don't have the time.
Like 5?
Health experts recommend that we eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And it's easier than you think with Giant's Strive for 5 program. Look for our brochures and recipe cards. Eating 5 a day is one of the most important changes you can make to improve your health.
Well, actually, 5 a day would be pretty easy.
Welcome back to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Opening pitch just around the corner. Mel Proctor along with John Lowenstein. Jim Palmer will also be with us today. The field looks to be in great shape. Groundskeeper Paul Zawaska and his crew has done a marvelous job getting this field back into shape. It suffered some damage during the fall and winter as the movie Major League 2 was shot here, and they really tore up the sod, and the field had to be resodded. And I was visiting with Paul before the game, and he told me what a job it was to get it into shape, but it looks terrific. We're going to have a sellout crowd here, and it should be a lot of fun on opening day, John.
That's right, Mel. Spring's over. The serious business starts today, and the bats are all cranked up, and then the legs have been churning for a couple of weeks. The regular players chomping at the bit, and the boys with the bats have hit their spring peak, and the weather will not hamper the offensive exploits this afternoon, though the pitching may.
The Orioles finished the exhibition season on a winning note, battering the Philadelphia Phillies here on Saturday 9-3 to finish with 15 wins, 15 losses, and 1 tie. The Royals were 16-14-1, but I guess those records don't mean anything now.
Well, that's what the coaching staff tells us anyway, but, the players just are in that get ready for the season mode, and you can see all the players on both teams here ready to crank it up to begin another championship season.
Of course, the Orioles have high hopes. So do the Kansas City Royals, who have lost George Brett, who retired, but they've added Vince Coleman, the troubled former Met, hoping that he'll provide the speed in the leadoff spot that Willie Wilson once gave the Kansas City Royals.
And maybe that will occur. One thing is for certain, they're going to score more runs just with the addition of Dave Henderson and Vince Coleman on the team. Now, they're going to get the usually historically fine pitching anyway. Now, whether or not they're going to be able to score runs more than the pace in which they scored them last year remains to be seen.
And all of the Orioles owners will be here today. Pam Shriver, the noted tennis pro from Baltimore, among the 21 owners. Of course, we saw majority owner Peter Angelos earlier. He's the man largely responsible for putting together this group and making the commitment to winning, which is something that was lacking here in recent years.
Well, Mel, the money that is being made here now is being spent here. That's the difference. It's not going to fund other enterprises. And we're going to see money being funneled into this team if they need. If they need a ball player down the road, they're going to go out and get it. But they'll spend the money within reason. But the point is they've got the product on the field right now to compete with the Blue Jays.
And a lot of these young players like Arthur Rhodes and Damon Buford and Jack Voigt, whom you see, have got to be excited about having opening day here before this huge and enthusiastic crowd.
And you hear a lot of people talking about the regular 9 that they put out there today. But let me tell you something. If you don't have bench depth, some of those names that you just mentioned now, you're not going to win a pennant because you can't win the pennant with the 9 players you put out there on the field. You got to have the bench depth.
And the fans will be pouring into Oriole Park again this year. In fact, for Saturday's exhibition game against the Phillies, the Orioles and Phils drew the second largest crowd in the history of this stadium. The largest was the All-Star game last year, but we'd expect all those attendance records to be broken again this year. Now let's go down on the field for the introduction of these two teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the visiting team for opening day 1994, the Kansas City Royals. First of all, the Royals head trainer, Nick Swartz. The assistant trainer, Steve Morrow. In the bullpen catcher, Kyle Reese. Now the coaches for the Royals. Please welcome back a great home run hitter in years past for the Orioles, the Big Bopper, Lee May. Now the Royals bullpen coach and another former Oriole, Jamie Quirk. The Royals coach, Glenn Azell. Third base coach, Steve Boros. The pitching coach in the bullpen, Bruce Keeson. Now the members of the Kansas City Royals. The infielder, number 4, Terry Shumpert. Number 6, David Howard. The closer, the Royals bullpen, number 21, Jeff Montgomery. He'll be starting here Wednesday night. Number 22, David Cohn. Right-hander, number 23, Mark Gubazov. Number 24, catcher, Brent Maine. Number 30, Hubie Brooks. Left-hander, number 33, Chris Haney. Number 35, Hippolito Pichardo. Number 36, Tom Gordon. Number 40, Kevin Kozlowski. Number 41, Billy Brewer. Number 43, Stan Belinda. Number 47, Tom Goodwin. Number 57, Mike Magnante. And now, today's starting lineup for the Kansas City Royals. First of all, the manager of the Royals, Mr. Hal Mcrae. Batting first and playing left field, number 29, Vince Coleman. Batting second and playing center field, number 56, Brian Mcrae. Batting third and playing first base, number 12, Wally Joyner. Batting fourth and catching, number 15, Mike Mcfarland. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 8, Gary Gagne. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 3, Bob Hamlin. Batting seventh and playing right field, number 42, Dave Henderson. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 7, Greg Gagne. Batting ninth and playing second base, number 13, Jose Chico Lind. And pitching for the Royals today, warming up in the bullpen, number 55, Kevin Apier. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 Kansas City Royals.
Now, all of us have watched the Orioles transform over the winter into a new home team. New local ownership group, headed by Baltimorean Peter Angelis, has made many improvements in the park and in the lineup. And we know that you're just kind of anxious to welcome these new players and the returning stars. So here we are, introducing your 1994 Baltimore Orioles, starting with the Orioles bat boy, Ivan Creighton. Clubhouse attendant, Charles Butch Burnett. Hey, you met their dad a few minutes ago. Say hello now to Orioles dedicated clubhouse manager, Jimmy Tyler, and the visitors clubhouse manager, Fred Tyler. Here are two men that put in as many hours as you can imagine. Head trainer, Richie Van Sells, and trainer, Jamie Reed. The Orioles strength and conditioning coach, and he's going to show you some fitness tips later on this afternoon on the Jumbotron board. Won't you welcome Tim Bishop? And I announce warm welcome for the bullpen catcher, who strangely enough is in the bullpen, Sam Snyder. And now the Oriole coaches. The batting coach, number 24, Greg Biagini. Pitching coach, number 27, Dick Bosman. A new member of the coaching staff and a member of the Orioles Hall of Fame, the leadoff hitter on the great Orioles teams of 69 through 71. Welcome bench coach number 13, Don Buford. First base coach, number 15, Davey Lopes. And a very respected coach who this year takes over the duties at third base. Welcome, please, number 31, Jerry Nara. And finally in the bullpen, the man who today is extending his club record with 26 opening days in an Oriole uniform. One of the greats of all time, one of the most popular citizens of our city and state, bullpen coach number 44, Elrod Hendricks. Now the Oriole players. First, one of the most talented prospects in the Orioles organization, currently on the disabled list, but we hope he'll be healthy very soon. Welcome, number 1, shortstop, Manny Alexander. The next young gentleman is Orioles third baseman, number 10, Leo Gomez. A couple of moments ago, you said hello to his popular dad. Won't you welcome this talented young outfielder, number 18, Damon Buford. And next, the tall, young, right-handed pitcher, number 19, Ben Mcdonald. This versatile young lad, and like Ben Mcdonald, a product of LSU, welcome infielder and outfielder, number 28, Jack Voigt. This hard-throwing southpaw is an exciting young Oriole. Welcome, number 29, Brad Pennington. Only Cal Ripken has been an Oriole longer than this veteran right-hander. Please welcome number 32, Mark Williamson. The next gentleman is a consummate role player and team player. He batted 300 in 1993. Welcome, number 36, Tim Hewlett. This sidearmer used to pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays. And let me tell you, he looks a heck of a lot better on our side. Now wearing the orange and black, number 38, welcome, Mark Eichhorn. This professional hitter joined the club to help down the stretch last year, and we're mighty happy he's back again this year. Welcome, the outfielder who wears number 39, Lonnie Smith. Here is a young man who has enjoyed 10 seasons in the Orioles organization. Welcome, please, catcher number 41, Jeff Tackett. This bright young man was among the most active Orioles in the community. Welcome, left-handed reliever number 45, Jim Poole. A new Oriole, and what a career this veteran has put together. He is the all-time saves leader in baseball history. Won't you welcome, please, right-handed reliever number 47, Lee Smith. Another new Oriole. We think he's going to love the way you treat your Orioles in this town. He's from the New York Mets. Won't you welcome left-handed pitcher number 50, Sid Fernandez. Here now, a talented southpaw, won a total of 18 games last year, 12 of them for the Orioles, after he came up from AAA. Welcome, number 51, Jamie Moyer. One of the most talented pitchers in the Orioles organization, number 53, left-hander Arthur Rose. Next, say hello again to the hard-throwing right-hander with that big number 75 on his back. Welcome, Alan Mills. Now, the Orioles starting lineup. First, the outstanding young manager of the Orioles, who was voted by his peers as the manager of the year in 1993, number 26, Johnny Oates. Now we're going to get to the starting lineup, and I wonder if you might help me out a little bit. I'll say a little bit about the player, give you his name, or rather his number, and then his name will follow. I would like to have you respond with that player's name. For instance, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, leading off for the 1994 Orioles, left fielder, number 9. Hey, way to go. Let's go. Let's keep right on going. Terrific. Here we go. Batting second, the outstanding center fielder, number 12. All right. Now you got a chance to really show me something for a new Oriole. One of the most outstanding players in the American League who chose to come to this wonderful community. Won't you welcome the man who will bat third, first baseman number 25. Now, another one of ours, the pride of the Eastern Shore from St. Michael's, Maryland, the designated hitter number 3. Now let's make sure that we don't make any mistakes here, okay? Batting fifth, the future Hall of Famer, who already has 2 MVP awards, 2 Gold Glove awards, 11 All-Star games, hasn't missed a game since 1982. Another Marylander, the pride of Aberdeen, shortstop number 8. Batting sixth, the young man who established several club records in 1993 while winning the Most Valuable Oriole Award. The catcher, number 23. I hope you're not getting tired. We got a couple more to go. Batting seventh, another new Oriole. And we hear he plays that hard-nosed brand of baseball that defines the true Orioles. Welcome the new third baseman, number 17. Batting eighth, the switch-hitting second baseman who had his best year ever in 1993, number 2. And batting ninth, the exceptionally gifted rookie who gave us a taste in 1993 of what he can do in the future. Welcome, right fielder, number 11, and out in the bullpen is a young man, only 25 years of age, who will make his first opening day start, and you can just imagine how exciting that is. Won't you welcome, please, the right-handed pitcher, number 35, Messina. There they are, ladies and gentlemen, your 1994 Baltimore Orioles.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of the colors. Presented today,
the Orioles and the Royals are getting ready for opening day, and we'll have more from Camden Yards in a moment.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Southwest Airlines has one of the best on-time records in the country.
Mr. Smith, you're early.
Just something to remember. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart.
When a person's recovering from a stroke, an injury, or an operation, we find out what they can do, not what they can't do. We help them return home and live again. We'll even go to their home and make things easier, like rearrange a room or build a special ramp. We do more so they can do more, like dress themselves. Or, you know, get on with the rest of their lives.
It's the HTS Orioles season opener. Our new look O's are locked and loaded to begin a run for it all. Now, a first test against last year's kids from nowhere, Kansas City. The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
The Orioles Television Network presents Major League Baseball. Today from Oriole Park at Camden Yards, it's the Orioles against the Kansas City Royals. And we have an absolutely glorious afternoon for opening day. Temperatures expected to reach the mid-60s, bright blue skies, and a capacity crowd jamming Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And hello, everybody. I'm Mel Proctor. Joining me today will be Jim Palmer and John Lowenstein, two former Orioles. And John, everybody's talking about the firepower of this offense. The lineup that will take the field today for the Orioles collectively last year hit 165 home runs. Many think this is the most potent offense this team has ever fielded.
I agree, Mel. Just with the introduction of Raphael Palmeiro and Chris Sabio alone, that's 58 home runs. And who's to say whether or not they're going to back up those numbers this year? But I'll tell you, it won't be far from it. This ball club will see increased run production. And they make up the difference between the Blue Jays and themselves, and they've done it handsomely. And you can own that to Angelos and company.
We'll visit with Jim Palmer in just a moment, but right now let's go back down on the field for the ceremonial first pitch.
And I'm going to get out of the way. I think that's pretty good. And, John, I think we have something very special to do. Oh!
Looks like the governor, William Donald Schaefer, has been throwing BP, but Mr. Angelos and Mr. Clancy need a little work on their fastballs. Jim, let's talk a little pitching right now after watching that exhibition. John talked about the offense. It appears to be a club that'll score a lot of runs, but you also must have pitching. And this spring, the pitching has been a little suspect.
Well, it certainly has. You talk about the offense. They almost scored 6 runs a game this spring, but they gave up over 5. Team record 15-15. Last year, the Orioles, they were number 2 at the All-Star break in pitching. The last second half of the season, they were 12th ERA of almost 4.6 runs a game. So the key, I think the key is the guy that's pitching today. Mike Messina has to be healthy. Did not have a good spring. He gave up 40 hits in 26 2/3 innings. His control wasn't bad, but within the strike zone, he was making horrendous pitches. I talked to him yesterday. He says he's healthy, but the confidence isn't there yet. But this is a great day to pitch. It will be a tough game because Kevin Appier for the Kansas City Royals is as good as you get.
Kevin Appier, an 18-game winner a year ago and led the American League in earned run average. He will be Mike Messina's mound opponent today. We'll be back with the starting lineups for opening day in just a moment.
O's TV on WJZ is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, now offering service from BWI to Chicago and Cleveland. By the Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. The Yellow Pages 9 out of 10 people use. The genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. By Giant. Quality, value, and service. That's Giant, your place to save. And by Powerade. More power to ya.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Frequent flyers on most airlines are thousands of miles from a free trip. But on Southwest Airlines, our company club frequent flyer members are only 8 short round trips away. Southwest Airlines Company Club, the shortest route to free trips.
You can't use a mobile phone to say,
Okay, we're ready to sign a contract.
You can't use a mobile phone to whisper.
Daddy misses you too, sweetheart.
A mobile phone will not let you send.
Here comes the fax.
And it will not let you hear.
The meeting's been changed.
Unless
Hello?
the call goes through. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile.
Here's a camera tip. In order to get a nice steady picture, one that doesn't jiggle or bounce around, remember, it's important your camera be mounted on a solid object specially designed to minimize vibration. Dodge Intrepid, running at, let's say, 85 miles an hour, would be a particularly good choice. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Let's take a look at the opening day lineup for manager Hal Mcrae's Kansas City Royals. Newcomer Vince Coleman will lead off and play left field. Brian Mcrae, a switch hitter in center field, batting second. First baseman Wally Joyner will hit third. The catcher Mike Mcfarland, who's had a fine spring, is in the cleanup spot. Longtime Minnesota Twin third baseman Gary Gagne will start in that position for the Royals today. Rookie Bob Hamlin is the designated hitter. Dave Henderson, a veteran of postseason play in right field, batting seventh. Greg Gagne, who did such a fine job last year, is again a shortstop for the Royals. And Jose Lynn at second base, batting ninth. And the opening day pitcher is Kevin Appier.
Well, last year led the American League in earned run average 2.56. He's got a good fastball. He's got a forkball. He's got a hard slider. And from everybody that I've talked to, the most difficult thing about Kevin Appier is the fact that he's got a very deceptive windup. He'll make great pitches. And what happens, you see him fall off the mound, you concentrate on that, and he's got you.
And the batting order for the Orioles on opening day as they face Kevin Appier. Brady Anderson will lead off and play left field. Mike Devereaux, the center fielder, batting second. Raphael Palmeiro at first base. Harold Baines is the designated hitter. Cal Ripken at shortstop, batting fifth. Catcher Chris Hoyles will hit sixth. Chris Sabo at third base, batting seventh. Mark Mclemore will play second base and bat eighth. And rookie Jeffrey Hammonds in right field, hitting ninth. And opposing Kevin Appier is Mike Messina.
Well, there's been a saying over the years, when the bell rings, you can hope you'll turn it on. And Mike Messina hopes that happens today. He's got two different kind of fastballs. He's got the curveball. He's got a great changeup. Did not really have any of those pitches working this spring. Had good control, only 4 walks, but not good control within the framework of the strike zone.
And the umpires for opening day, Jim Evans behind the plate, Darrell Cousins at first base, Rick Reed at second, and Gary Cederstrom at third base. And a capacity crowd will be on hand today, the 53rd consecutive sellout crowd here at Camden Yards, and just a gorgeous afternoon. And all of the fans appreciate the efforts of owner Peter Angelos and his group putting together what appears to be a very strong team.
Well, when you spend $43 million, you've made the commitment to the fans here who fill these seats every single game, day in and day out.
I think what you've also done is you've made a commitment to the players, not the players they signed, but the ones that over the last 2-3 years have seen other clubs like Toronto make the moves they need to do to strengthen their ball club late in the year. And if that happens this year, they're in a position to win. He will go out and get somebody that's going to help this club.
And certainly in light of Mike Messina's troubles this spring, I would think this opening day assignment is extra special for him.
Well, he said, you know, a lot of times this may be a once-in-a-lifetime type of situation. I'd really doubt that with his kind of ability, but he wants to seize it by the throat and make the most of it.
Today's contestant in the Maryland Lottery Hit It Here promotion is Marlenic Tissue of Hagerstown, Maryland. If the lottery logo is hit by a fly ball, Marlenic will win $10,000. If the lottery logo is not hit, the jackpot will be increased by $1,000. So tune into each O's TV broadcast to see if you're a contestant. Watch it here, hit it here, win it here.
Who?
Marlenic Tissue.
All right. I'll tell you one thing. Mike Messina looks like a good bet to me to have a good year, despite those spring numbers you were talking about, Jimmy. And it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can turn it on today, because he is the master of several different pitches. So if he has that working for him, he will.
Messina during the spring pitched 26 2/3 innings and gave up a whopping total of 40 hits, and the opposition hit .354 against him. He also had an inflated earned run average of 6.75.
Well, you know, if you talk to Jeff Tackett, who catches him in the bullpen, caught him once, he said, I think he's exactly where he wants to be. He is actually throwing better now. The results not as good than he did last year. Well, we'll see. This is what it's all about.
Vince Coleman making his debut as a Kansas City Royal. Formerly with the Cardinals and the Mets. One of the great base stealers of all time. A troubled year last year, a firecracker incident in July. The Mets decided he would no longer play for them. Part of a plea bargaining agreement, he agreed to a misdemeanor charge, served some community service and a suspended sentence, and hopes to start anew in Kansas City. So he's a happy camper and very excited about playing with the Royals. Strike one for Mike Messina to get the season underway.
I'll tell you what, this Royals organization's gone 8 seasons without making the playoffs, and that's quite a drought for this franchise. And with the addition of Vince Coleman and then later Dave Henderson, they expect to increase run production that's going to get them up there again.
Ground ball to the second baseman, Mark Mclemore. That takes care of Coleman.
I'll tell you what, if Messina, Jimmy, can achieve the kind of location to his hardware that he's most notable for, then his performance chart's going to be very much biased toward the upside.
One down. That'll bring up Brian Mcrae, the switch-hitting center fielder and son of Royals manager Hal Mcrae. He bounced back from a disappointing season 2 years ago to have his best year last year, hitting .282 with 12 homers, 69 runs batted in. He shows bunt and takes a fastball low.
I asked his dad, who's managing the ball club, I said, what's the difference? He said he's more confident, a little bit more patient. When he came up, he wanted to swing at the first pitch, you know, get something going. He didn't have enough confidence to go into a deep count.
He's still very aggressive. He only walked 37 times last year, but he's been a little more selective. Doesn't get himself in the hole in terms of the count as much as he did last year.
Well, I think Hal was talking about, when he talked about Brian, he said getting better hitting counts. You know, not swinging at the first pitch, hitting 2-0, 3-1.
Well, you know what happened? He started listening to his pop-up.
3-0, the count to Brian Mcrae. He'll be followed by Wally Joyner. The Royals this year competing in the Central Division along with the White Sox, the Indians, the Twins, and the Brewers. Mcrae taking all the way, and it's 3-1. Last year the Royals were 84-78, finished a distant third in the American League West. Ripped down the line, but foul. And it's 3-2 to Mcrae.
And you know what else, Mel? George Brett's gone from the field, so the Royals no longer have that marquee position player that they can count on.
They're hoping that rookie Bob Hamlin, a power hitter in the minor leagues, can take over Brett's DH spot. But this team had trouble scoring runs last year, even with George Brett. They were 14th in the league, scoring only 675 runs. Which is why they went out and got Vince Coleman and Dave Henderson. Hit foul the other way.
Well, Hal Mcrae yesterday was very emphatic about trying to get off to a better start. They were 2-9 last year. The year before, 1-16. And this is a tough time of year when you don't score a lot of runs because you see the opposition's best pitchers. Messina today, Mcdonald on Wednesday.
Hit to Mclemore, who falls down and snags it on the fly. Looked like he lost his footing a little bit, but still picked it off in the air.
Yeah, it fooled him too. He was moving toward his left, and the ball kind of tailed back to his right. He was actually lucky to have caught it.
Well, it appears, John, he hits the ball off the up the bat a little bit, so therefore, you know, you look like he's going to pull the ball, but it goes the other way. Second base umpire Rick Reed actually says the ball is safe, and then either Mark gave him a convincing look or whatever, and he eventually calls him out.
The ball was safe in Mclemore's glove. Ball one to Wally Joyner. He didn't have much of a spring, hitting just .213.
Hey, I don't know how many people told me during the spring those numbers don't mean anything, especially if you're a veteran player.
Joyner had his best years early in his career with the California Angels, a runner-up to Jose Canseco for Rookie of the Year honors. Hit 34 home runs, and it was expected he would become a big power hitter, but Royal Stadium, now known as Ewing Kauffman Stadium, is not really a power hitter's ballpark. Very spacious, and that has hurt him. He hits it in the air to right field. Hammond's back, and he's got it in a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Messina, and I'm sure he feels much better after that.
Let me show you my collection. This is the New York's World Fair. I got locked in my car. These are the different parts of a horse, and there's a part of a horse called nausea. If you're going to fold, make sure you rotate. Chuck Thompson, Hall of Fame. Are you ready? Look at it quickly. That's all the light is allowed. I'd now like to model my newest one.
Play the Maryland Lottery's new Scratch Baseball. Win up to $500 plus this great T-shirt.
Hey, I'm the bird.
Yo, everybody's heard about the bird.
The bird cannot reveal his true identity. Average game, the bird does about 30 of these. That's why I drink milk. It helps give me strong bones, muscles. I drink milk with cookies.
We're proud to be the official parents of the bird.
With hot dogs? On the bird. On the bird. Snacks. If it weren't for milk, I'd probably lay an egg out there.
Milk, whole, low fat or non-fat. It does a body good.
For Good Samaritan Hospital to build a nursing home right next to it wasn't a normal thing, but it's what the community needed. So I knew my job would be unnormal. Give people a place to spend a few weeks, a few months, or the rest of their lives. But do more. Give them something to look forward to every single day. Some days, I even surprise myself.
While this is Oriole starter Mike Messina's first opening day assignment, it's the third opening day assignment for the Royals ace, right-hander Kevin Apier. Last year he lost to the Red Sox 6-1. 2 years ago in 1992 he had a no decision against the Oakland A's in Oakland and a 5-3 loss to the A's.
Yeah, well, he is among one of the best pitchers in baseball, Mel. Despite the presence of David Cohn on this same ball club, he's the ace of the staff. I mean, he depends primarily on split-fingered fastball you mentioned earlier to get his outs. With an over-the-top delivery, he's got a sneaky fastball, too. So excellent velocity, a curveball and slider, and a dandy splitter really complicates things for the hitters.
Apier had a marvelous season a year ago, 18-8, third in the Cy Young voting behind Jack McDowell and Randy Johnson.
Well, when he first came up with the ball club, Pat Dobson, the former Oriole, was the pitching coach. He said, you know, he's going to hurt his arm. He falls off. He got his left shoulder straight up in the air like he's, at Cape Canaveral and things like that. Well, really, what makes him so deceptive is that windup. He falls off towards first base, but the delivery's already done. And Greg Biagini, the hitting instructor, says if you don't pick up that window, and something you can talk about, the release point, where the ball comes out of, he's a very difficult guy to follow.
And here come the mashers, Brady Anderson, Mike Devereaux, and Raphael Palmeiro to face Kevin Apier, who was 1-1 against the Orioles last year, 2-3 against them lifetime. Brady's numbers from a year ago, he would certainly like to see an increase in his home runs, particularly here at Camden Yards. He hit 15 here in 1992 and only 2 last year.
Now, Mel, he's gotten stronger. The home runs are going to come. He's turning on the ball more often now.
Apier's first delivery is high, ball 1.
You know, you don't have to tell yourself that I want to hit more home runs. They're going to come for him because he is maturing and becoming a much better player and a hitter at the plate.
Fastball in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Brady hit .290 this spring with no homers. He drove in 11 runs.
Really, what happens if Jeffrey Hammonds out of the 9th spot has a great year? He gets on, he can steal bases. Brady's going to see an abundance of fastballs.
That's low, and it's 2-1. Johnny Oates says he loves this lineup. He said we've got speed at the top of the order, speed at the bottom of the order, and the mashers in between. Brady and Devereaux atop the order. Mclemore and Hammonds batting 8th and 9th. All run very well. And then you've got the power hitters like Palmeiro and Baines and Ripken and Hoyles and Sabo. Pretty imposing lineup.
They talk in terms of 8 guys hitting 20+ home runs. They have that capability.
Popped up foul out of play. In fact, of this lineup, the 9 players starting today for the Orioles, the top 8 have at least one 70 RBI season each, and the top 7 batters have all reached the 80 RBI plateau in a season. There are no weak spots in this batting order. Just inside, and Apier goes to a full count with Brady. It looked like the splitter.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I've always maintained is you come up against a kind of pitching staff that they're seeing this afternoon and Wednesday. You get a quick read on what kind of lineup you have against a good pitching staff.
Brady reaches for one and lifts it in the air to left field. Vince Coleman has it. 1 down.
Well, there's a perfect example. You don't want to walk Brady Anderson because he can steal bases. But if you're a quality pitcher that can make those quality pitches, 3-2, you don't give in to the hitter. That was a good fastball up and away. And Brady really just kind of took a half swing at it. And then you get the fly ball instead of a line drive.
And with 1 out, here's Mike Devereaux back in center field after an experiment this spring that didn't pan out. Johnny Oates had hoped that he could play right field with Brady Anderson moving to center. And Hammond still out, but Devo ran into a chain-link fence in one of the early games in right field. Had all sorts of defensive problems. Also had a sprained ankle early in the spring. Wasn't hitting. And when he was switched back to center field, things just seemed to pick up. And since the 23rd of March, he's hit .438.
Yeah, he marched into his comfort zone there toward the end of spring training. And he felt very good about himself. Not only the fact that he was back in center again, but that he was swinging the bat well.
1-2 to Devo.
But again, manager Johnny Oates with Palmeiro hitting third here has constructed this lineup about as well as you can construct it. And Mel suggested with speed at both ends of the spectrum of the lineup, you got those big guys in the middle, but really identically, this ball club can hit home runs throughout the entire lineup.
Fastball is hammered to left field, way back and gone. And just like that, the Orioles have struck a home run by Mike Devereaux to take the lead.
Well, look at this pitch right there, right down in his wheelhouse. A good high ball hitter from the right side usually, but he lost this. I mean, the rolling thunder that you hear coming from the baseball, throttling its way out here into the distance was Mike hitting that baseball. Holy fajita, that ball was tagged.
1-0 Orioles. And it's strike 1 to Raphael Palmeiro. And keep in mind that Kevin Apier gave up only 8 home runs all last year in 238 2/3 innings, and Devereaux takes him deep, the second batter up on opening day. Ground ball foul down the right field line.
Yeah, well, his fastball just ran into a 37-ounce bat. Greg Biagini said, you know, he doesn't swing it, he drops it. And that's what he did on that low inside fastball.
Raphael Palmeiro got a hold of one on Saturday against the Phillies, a 415 shot over the right field wall.
When you throw one as hard as Kevin Napier, the only hope is that it hooks foul. And that ball didn't have time to hook foul.
And Devo is smiling after giving the Orioles the lead.
Got a lot to smile about.
Yes, sir.
You go down 0-2 and then you drop the hammer like that.
Raphael Palmeiro has always been a good hitter in Baltimore. 323 lifetime average in Baltimore and 321 in this ballpark.
No, he's going to wear that flag court out in right field. My initial impression here, and then the way he eyeballed that part of the stadium.
He cranks one down the line, but it hooks foul. It's only 318 feet down the right field line. Easy pickings for Palmeiro with 37 home runs last year.
He's got such a quick bat, too. I mean, you'll see him trying to pull the ball in that direction.
Well, I asked him, I said, how do you hit Napier? He said, well, I don't really hit him that well. In fact, the numbers are 207, 9 for, actually 6 for 29. But he said, I did beat him with a home run the night he pitched a one-hitter against us last year. So just like pitchers never forget anything, neither do hitters.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Palmeiro. Popped him up. Mike Mcfarland will have the play. And the Royals catcher makes the catch for the second out. We understand that Seattle's Randy Johnson has a no-hitter through 7 innings against the Cleveland Indians.
Not so surprising. No. Pitchers usually peak early in the season. You mentioned it, Jimmy.
And with 2 down, here's Harold Baines, the designated hitter. And we're just getting word now that Johnson has just lost a no-hitter. We'll give you more details when we get them.
What's the score?
Seattle leads 2-0 in the 8th. Ball 1 to Harold Baines, who had a good spring, hitting .333 with 4 home runs. If you're pitching against the Orioles, Jim, I mean, how do you pitch around anybody?
Just like pitching against the Detroit Tigers when they had Kaline and, you know, Cash and Northrup and Willie Horton and people like that. You have to make good pitches. I think the one thing we've already seen, when you make a mistake against this team, it ends up not in singles but in home runs, and that means runs on the board.
2-1 to Baines. I know pitchers and catchers sit down before a game and go over an opposing batting order and say, well, don't let this guy beat you. But how can you do that with this club?
It becomes much more difficult. You know, they say you have to really pitch the entire game batter to batter. And against the Orioles, if you ever lose your concentration, just for a while, all of a sudden you got a big inning going.
Baines hits a ground ball on the right side into right field for a base hit. Chico leaned, unable to come up with it, and it's a single for Baines.
Well, you know, if Leaned isn't going to catch the ball, then no one is going to catch it out there at that position. Probably one of the best second basemen in the league, maybe even all of baseball.
He has tremendous range, but couldn't make the play on that ground ball, and Baines is aboard with a 2-out single. And here's Cal Ripken, who had a fine spring, hitting .338. With 2 homers, he drove in 16 runs. Perhaps that's a good omen. Last year, he got off to a very slow start, first half of the season, then caught fire after the All-Star break, hitting .292. Breaking ball for a strike.
Well, he's got that splitter. He's got a slider. He's got a little curveball he throws ever so often. And that fastball moves a little bit. It's got some velocity to it. But he's going to get people out. He's going to have to use that split-fingered fastball to do it.
Cal smokes one to left. Another base hit. Harold Baines goes to second. The Orioles have 3 hits in the first inning.
Well, good offenses feed off each other. I mean, it's just very much like being part of a good staff. If you don't win on Monday, you know somebody else is going to pick you up. The fact that Baines gets the hit allows Cal to come up. There's a fastball. It looks like a fastball right in the middle of the plate. And not when Cal had he had an excellent spring, as Mel Proctor told you. He's not going to miss those pitches. Didn't miss them the second half of last year. Hasn't missed them this spring. And if you're Kevin Napier, you got to be a little nervous because now you have a guy that can hit it out anytime, any part of the ballpark. And Hoyles.
And Chris Hoyles is swinging a hot bat. He hit .343 in his last 14 spring games. Napier works him down and away, and it's ball one. Hoyles has never had a hit off Kevin Napier. He's 0 for 4 against him.
The Orioles never would have imagined, Mel, that Hoyles would have come around as quickly as he did and turned into the kind of power hitter he has become.
Foul ball, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
They really hit the jackpot when they got a hold of Chris Hoyles. You know, they were lamenting the fact that they lost Mickey Tuttle, but I'm telling you right now, they're not hurting at all.
Chris Sabo is on deck. The Orioles lead 1-0 on a home run by Mike Devereaux. Hoyles with tremendous power to all fields. He can take you deep to right center, as well as pulling the ball and hitting it out. 2-1.
The remarkable thing about Chris is the whole package. You know, he calls a good game. He threw much better last year. Went from about 16 to 31% of throwing out attempted stealers. And the pitchers are very, very happy to throw to a guy. Gives a good target, calls a good game. He's not just a hitter.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Napier ran that one in on his hands and jammed him a little bit.
It was right there. It just sunk, and you're right, Mel. It sunk right underneath his swing. If he could duplicate that pitch right now, he'd get him out.
Line foul. Johnny Oates decided to head north with 2 catchers, Hoyles the starter and the backup Jeff Tackett. At times this spring he talked about the possibility of carrying 3 catchers, but the veteran Rich Gedman, who made the All-Star team twice with the Red Sox, could no longer regain his form at the age of 35 and was released. The Orioles gave him the option of reporting to AAA, but he decided to retire. They liked the idea of Gedman's left-handed bat in that dugout, but they just couldn't do the job. Hoyles sends a high fly ball to left. Vince Coleman and the center fielder Mcrae are both there, and Brian makes the catch for the 3rd out, but the Orioles have taken the lead on a mammoth home run by Mike Devereaux.
Shopping. 9
out of 10 use it. All aboard! The genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages.
Eat 5 a day? Me?
I don't have the time.
Like 5?
Health experts recommend that we eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And it's easier than you think with Giant's Strive for 5 program. Look for our brochures and recipe cards. Eating 5 a day is one of the most important changes you can make to improve your health.
Well, actually, 5 a day would be pretty easy.
Unlike most fast food places, folks at Popeyes actually do cook. Get 5 pieces for just $3.99, 9 pieces for just $5.99. Popeyes.
We cook.
A chance for the Bullets to play the Steelers. Hot shot Mark Bryce and Cleveland are fighting for playoff position. Now Dukes and the gang can have a shot to shoot down the Cavaliers. Watch the Bullets work for a win against Cleveland Friday night at 7:30 on HTS.
The Orioles 1994 Media Guide is now on sale. Send $10 plus $3 postage and handling to Orioles Media Guide, Oriole Park at Camden Yards, 333 West Camden Street in Baltimore, 21201. 384 pages chock full of information about the Orioles, and the Media Guide last year was voted the best in baseball. The Orioles lead 1-0 on a home run by Mike Devereaux. Mike Messina retired the side in order in the first, so he'll face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Royals. catcher Mike Mcfarland, third baseman Gary Gagne, and the designated hitter Bob Hamlin. Mike Mcfarland, who led the Royals in home runs and RBIs this spring with 5 homers, drove in 12 runs. Ball 1.
Well, he can hit, and he has evidently assumed the everyday workload here behind the plate for the Royals. And usually he hits this Orioles ball club pretty well.
He has a career .324 average against the Orioles with 6 home runs, but last year he hit just .172 against them.
He has made some improvements behind the plate, particularly in calling a ball game, but he's primarily known for his bat. Compensates for much of his defensive shortcomings, but he can hit.
Fastball is high. Mike Messina appears to have plenty of zip, plenty of velocity on that fastball today.
We're talking control. He threw hard, 92 miles per hour in his last start against the White Sox. Made a lot of bad pitches, and he got 6 runs off him. Location is important for him.
And he goes 3-1 to a good hitter in Mike Mcfarland.
Mike Flanagan, who will be working with us off and on over the years, said the one thing that concerned him was that Mike seems to be falling a little bit to his left, maybe favoring the arm and the back injury he had yesterday. We'll look for that as the afternoon progresses.
3-2 to Mcfarland. We mentioned Messina's numbers, 40 hits and 26 2/3 innings this spring. Were there springs that you pitched poorly, and then when the season started, things just clicked in?
Yeah, it took me a long time, but the thing that concerns me is that I've always judged Mike Messina the way hitters react to him, and they reacted very well where he used to have him totally confused. So he would throw that pitch for a strike, down and away, down and in, and then when he came upstairs, it was like a shock. This spring, he has been up in the strike zone with all 3 pitches. Change up, the curveball, and the fastball.
Pitching coach Dick Bosman watching his ace with great interest as he walks the leadoff batter Mike Mcfarland. The Royals have the tying run aboard, and Gary Gagne up. Gagne hitting .339 this spring. He really gave the Royals a lift last year when he was signed as a free agent in June after being let go by the California Angels. It looked like his career was over, but he was rejuvenated in playing for the Royals. Ground ball in the hole and through for a base hit. Mcfarland will go to second on the single by Gagne.
That's what he does best. Primarily a pull hitter still. Advanced age, up in his upper 30s. Always has been one of these kinds of hitters, Jimmy.
Al Mcrae said yesterday he's one of the only high ball hitters we have, and that's what he gets. Belt high fastball. You know, he's the type of guy, if you're a pitcher, you don't mind having him come up there every once in a while because he strikes out about every 3rd time up, and if you get him to hit the ball on the ground at somebody, you can turn a double play.
And here's the designated hitter, rookie Bob Hamlin, taking over for George Brett. He comes up with nobody out, runners at first and second. The Orioles ahead 1-0. Strike 1 to Hamlin, who has been regarded as the best power-hitting prospect in the Royals organization for years, but he's had trouble staying healthy. Underwent a spinal fusion, disc fusion, a couple of years ago, and it wasn't until last year that he finally played at least 100 games in a season.
Well, he's got a lot of natural power.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
In all fields.
He can pull this ball, too. He can really take advantage of this ballpark.
1 ball, 1 strike to Hamlin, who spent most of last year with Omaha in the American Association, where he hit 29 homers, drove in 84 runs.
Another thing, he walked 89 times, which led the league. Did not have a good spring. I think he hit about 197, and I asked him about that. He said, I thought I'd get more fastballs to hit. Really threw him a lot of chunk.
He's a very patient hitter, as Jimmy said, and explodes on the ball when he does swing usually.
Ground ball on the right side. Palmeiro with a diving stop to Messina covering for the out. Nice play.
Tell you what, it takes a lot of the responsibility away from that second baseman to have to go over there and plug that hole up when you've got a left-handed first baseman able to make those kinds of plays.
Well, you always, as a pitcher, tell the first baseman to get everything he can because you know you're going to cover first base. You work on it every day in spring training. I think the one thing about Raphael Palmeiro, he's underrated as a fielder. Outstanding first baseman. That could have been a run-in, runner at first and third, and now you have runners at second and third and 1 out. Usually could have been a base hit into right field.
Mcfarland is at third, Gagne at second, and Dave Henderson, the veteran, coming up for the first time. Henderson, who came up with the Mariners, played with the Red Sox, had some fine years there, more recently in Oakland. He's always carried the reputation of being an outstanding clutch hitter. Back to Messina, who checks a runner at third and throws out Hindu. 2 outs. And he had Mcfarland scrambling back.
That's right. He would have had a play there, but I think it was justified in going to first because he has to get this hitter out here, and he's out of the inning.
Well, it goes back to what we talk about, Mike Flanagan saying that occasionally Mike Messina will fall off. This time, watch him. It's a breaking ball. Look, a knuckle curve ball. He doesn't fall ball, fields his position. You made a good point, John. I think he feels he could have had a play at third base. You'll see him react right here. The first thing you do with runner at third base is check him. He does that. But in his heyday, Mike Messina's heyday, he knows with 2 outs now he can get the next guy out. So maybe this is an idea that he's getting a little bit more confident.
Greg Gagne is the hitter. He takes a fastball right down Broadway. Gagne, a .250 lifetime hitter against Messina, with 5 hits and 20 at-bats and 1 home run. Had the best year of his career last year, hitting .280.
Now you have first base open, and you have a guy that can't hit on deck. He's right out there for his glove. So if you don't make your pitches, you may even pitch around this guy.
Just off the plate. 1-1. Jose Lean, hitting .182 this spring, is on deck. Gagne will hit a ball out occasionally. He hit 10 home runs last year.
He's a guy that sneaks up on you. Get behind him. You say, well, he can't hit a home run. You throw him that 2-0 fastball, and all of a sudden somebody's reaching for it in the left field bleachers.
Mike throws a fastball right by him, and it's 1-2.
He'll challenge hitters, and he does not beat himself when he's on.
Well, 2 years ago, John, when he was 18-5, with runners in scoring positions, such as this situation, the league hit 170. And that's how you have an ERA of about 2.5 runs a game, and that's how you go 18-5. Talk about clutch hitting. This is clutch pitching. Tough situation. Do you get the hitter out that you need to get out?
If he gets a strikeout here, he can get out of the inning. Fastball got him. He painted the block to get the strikeout and leaves 2 men on base. We go to the bottom of the second with the Orioles ahead, 1-0.
This is video-assisted surgery. Some people call it laparoscopy. Mostly, it means our patients feel less pain. Incisions are now much smaller. Hi, how do you feel? Hospital stays a few hours or sometimes a day or 2. All of this is why Good Sam invested in everything we needed. They did more for people so we could. Was it worth it? Just ask the patient.
You can't use a mobile phone to tell your boss you're running late.
You said 2:45, right?
To tell your client you're stuck in traffic.
What, where is he?
Or tell your wife your car's broken down. Unless the call goes through. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile.
Powerade presents Today in Sports History. Today in Sports History, presented by Powerade. More power to you.
Join HTS's Smokin' Al Koken for the Caps Report, 1/2 hour before every Caps game on HTS.
Our next telecast will be on Wednesday as the Orioles and Royals resume this series. Ben Mcdonald will face David Cohn, another good matchup, and Tom Davis will open the proceedings with a Rolling Rock Orioles report beginning at 7 o'clock and the game to follow at 7:30.
Kevin Napier was out there a long time that last half inning he was there. The first inning of that game, Jimmy, I guess the real tester, isn't it? A little nervousness has to be shaken.
Well, that you come out of the bullpen, you don't have an umpire, you don't have a hitter, you don't have the fans. It's a totally different environment, and that's why some of the great pitchers, if you didn't get them early, you weren't going to get them. And the Orioles had an opportunity with a couple of guys on and Hoyles at the plate.
Chris Sabo getting a big hand as he steps to the plate for the first time.
You look at a guy like Kevin Apier, his lifetime earned run average is 295. So you have to get a good pitching performance from your pitcher, and you also have to take the opportunity when they come, when they arise.
Chris Sabo moving from the National League to the American League, so he is facing a lot of new pitchers. Hitters like to talk about the different styles in the two leagues. The National League pitchers will challenge you more than the American League pitchers. I'm not so sure that's as true as it was a few years ago.
No, I don't believe it now, Mel. Certainly narrowed the gap a lot. See a lot of breaking ball pitchers in the National League now.
I mean, Lenny Dykstra said he thinks pitchers have changed. He said, number one, they don't challenge you anymore, and this is a National League guy that walked 129 times. They try to deceive you, and they try to pitch behind in the count.
Fastball is low, and Apier goes 3-0 to Chris Sabo.
I firmly believe, if you can be a 500 pitcher and make $2 million a year, you don't have to challenge anybody.
Good point there.
It took only the second inning for money to surface this conversation.
Why ruin your
bitter
career?
Veterans.
Right. Good for him.
Sabo draws a leadoff walk. The first free pass issued by Apier.
Because we're only going to do that to the opposition. They're going to go, yeah, that guy signed 5-year, $30 million. Good for him.
What a guy. Mark Mclemore coming up now. And you talk about opening days and opening day debuts. Perhaps the most auspicious was made by Mclemore's former high school teammate in San Diego, Big Sam Horn, in 1990 in Kansas City. Sam making his Oriole debut with a pair of 3-run homers as the Orioles beat the Royals 7-6 in 11 innings. He hit a 3-run shot off Brett Saberhagen, who had won the Cy Young Award the year before.
I think the second one came off Steve Farr. Nice slow curveball. He massaged it up on the end of the waterfall.
Strike one to Mclemore, but the fickle nature of this game. Here's Mclemore, who was career was almost at an end a couple of years ago. Now a starter, an everyday player. And Sam Horn just the other day was sent back to the minor leagues by the Yankees after hitting 38 home runs at AAA last year.
Absolute shame. He could have done some damage in Yankee Stadium.
But he doesn't have a position.
That's why they got that DH slot.
Mclemore had a fine spring, leading the team in hitting with a .339 average. Orioles 1, Royals nothing. Bottom of the second. We're glad you can be with us for opening day. Nothing like it.
I'll bet you that Mclemore sees more pitches per at-bat than anyone on this team. He's that patient hitter up the plate, wanting the pitcher to utilize his entire repertoire almost before he even swings the bat.
Well, Dykstra talked about that. He said hitters should be very much, and I said, like Wade Boggs, where he says, I like to see as many pitches as I can. You pick up the spin, you pick up the break on the breaking ball, the movement on the fastball. But this guy right here, Hal Mcrae, will tell you that most hitters, they're afraid to go deep in the catch. And not the confident ones. And if any hitter that I remember of 1993, Mclemore got better hitting counts. It looked like he was almost, until he had 2 strikes, looking for that fastball and hitting it back at the pitcher, right center, left center.
Mark had a career year last season, hitting .284 with 72 RBIs. He takes a strike, 1 and 2. How many lineups can boast a number 8 hitter who drove in 72 runs the year before?
Probably none, except this one.
Jeffrey Hammonds waiting on deck. Well hit ball to deep center field, but playable for Brian Mcrae, who makes the catch. And Sabo returns to first. Mcrae, one of the league's better defensive center fielders, really gets an excellent jump. Has tremendous speed. And here's the phenom, Jeffrey Hammonds, batting 9th, hit .313 this spring, beginning his 2nd year of professional baseball. The 2nd youngest rookie to make his debut on opening day for the Orioles. He's 23 years of age, slightly older now, I think 5 months. Cal Ripken was 21 years of age when he made his debut. First ball hitting. Hammonds pops it foul.
Well, I'm telling you, they project somewhere between 280 and 300 as a hitter. They think perhaps with his tremendous speed that he might be able to steal somewhere between 40 and 50 bases. Now, whether or not those kinds of numbers come to fruition remains to be seen, but he certainly has the potential to do that.
Well, I said, does Greg Biagini, will he hit home runs? He said, of course. I said, why? Bat speed.
He rips one foul down the left field line.
When we talk about bat speed, that's the velocity of the bat through the hitting zone. You know, some batting instructors will tell you they can teach that, but you can only do so much.
Well, I certainly haven't met a hitting instructor who can teach bat speed.
Well, Bobby Bonds, I had a chance to talk to him, and he said, you know, you can just get a hitter and you can maximize it and get the swing shorter and whatever, but I think that's a God-given talent. The guys that really can generate that bat speed are the ones that can put a hurting on the ball.
Hammonds goes the other way and skies one to right field. Henderson makes a running grab. He broke in on the ball. He has fun out there, doesn't he? Even when he misplays one.
Well, how did he ever catch that ball?
I thought it was destined. That was going to be an RBI and a triple because Jeffrey Hammonds can run.
I mean, it looked like he gave away at least 6 strides coming in after that ball, but still made up the ground back to catch it.
Made the catch with a smile on his face.
He said, you guys thought that ball was going to drop in.
Well, he had me confused. I was about to say the guys you want to mess around with are Vince Coleman in left and Henderson in right, not Mcrae in center field.
2 down. Here's Brady Anderson, who flied to left his first time up. Pierce steps off the rubber. Talked about the Orioles' power and run-producing potential. This is also a team that's going to be able to steal more bases than in the past. Raphael Palmeiro had a career-high 22 stolen bases last year. Chris Sabo, early in his career, as a rookie, swiped 46. He's had some back and leg problems since. Doesn't run quite as well, but he can steal one if you need it occasionally.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that'll be probably the most interesting thing about this offense is how much running they do over the course of the season.
Running seems to be an attitude, and it seems rare that you have a team that hits home runs and steals. It's either one or the other. Either you're committed to a running game and you're looking to steal and you pile up the stolen bases, or you don't run, you play back, wait for the big inning.
Yeah, how much running do you want to do unless you have to do it late in the game, in a close game?
Brady pops it up, foul off third base. Gagne over near the stands, and it can't get there.
Well, when you talk about running, I look at running as a team willing to take 2 bases on each hit. To me, that's a good running ball club. You instill that in the players, and they've got increased experience now on this ball club. They got players who want to run.
And of course, if you're a former pitcher, it translates into defensive ability, getting to balls that normal players would not get to. And that's the one thing I look at. Sabo is an above-average third baseman, and we've already talked about Palmeiro with a fine play in the first inning. Not that they just added home runs and hurt themselves when you put the glove on.
Fastball high and away, and it's 2-2 to Brady Anderson. Brady now secure with a 3-year, $10.25 million contract extension. Foul back. Another guy whose career appeared to be almost at an end a couple of years ago after being acquired from the Red Sox, doing the job defensively, but it looked like he would just never hit Major League pitching. The Orioles tried to get him to hit the ball the other way and play little ball and do all the things you want from the so-called leadoff batter. And finally, out of desperation, they said, Brady, do it your way. And he was down on the end of the bat, taking a healthy cut. Had his best year 2 years ago. Another solid season last year. Nice stop by Gagne. Scrambles to his feet and throws him out. No runs, no hits, and 1 left. We've completed 2 on opening day with the Orioles leading the Royals 1-0.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Southwest Airlines has one of the best on-time records in the country.
Mr. Smith, you're early.
Just something to remember. Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart.
We have a rather large inventory of Dodge Shadows, and we're ready to move them out. That means right now you can get one with features like air conditioning, AM/FM stereo cassette, even the power of an available V6. And lots more, like a driver's airbag and 1,000 cash back. Meaning you should think about putting your Shadow into our Shadow.
See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Friday, it's the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener. Off-season, the O's raided the Rangers for slugger Raphael Palmeiro. Now, Jose Canseco and company aim to pay back our power-packed O's. The WNUV 54 Orioles season opener, Friday at 7:30 on WNUV 54.
Kids 16 and under can sign up now for the Cal Ripken Jr. Orioles Club. Included the benefits are tickets to 3 Orioles home games this season. For more information, call 547-6140. Mel Proctor with Jim Palmer, John Lowenstein back at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The Orioles leading the Royals 1-0. Mike Devereaux hit a home run off Kevin Apier in the first inning to give the Orioles the lead. And Jose Lean, the number 9 hitter, will lead off for the Royals in the third. He takes a strike. Lean and Greg Gagne really shored up the middle of the Royals defense last year. Lean had a great year defensively. Committed only 4 errors all year. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's certainly not in there for his bat.
Well, he brought back memories of Frank White, who held that position down very solidly for a number of years and won a number of Gold Gloves.
The difference, Frank White could hit.
Taters, too.
Comebacker to Mike Messina. 1 out.
Messina has stormed through the first couple of frames here, plus an out, pitching out of a possible run-scoring jam in the second inning. But I'll tell you what, it looks very much like he's got that location under control here.
He had a 1-2-3 inning in the first, walked the leadoff batter Mcfarland to start the second, gave up a ground single to Gary Gagne, then got ground outs from Hamlin and Henderson, and struck out Greg Gagne with a fastball on the outside corner to leave 2 men on base. Vince Coleman up for the second time. He grounded to second base his first time up. Chris Sabo playing in on the grass at third in case Coleman is thinking of bunting.
Well, everybody's in. Palmeiro's in at first. The infielders, middle infielders play about 2-3 steps shower, because you don't want to give up the hit in front of you because it's a double or a triple with his base stealing capabilities.
Coleman last year at 92 games with the Mets hit .279. Actually was playing pretty well, and then he got into that jam in Los Angeles, throwing a firecracker into a group of people after a game, and 3 of them claimed they were injured, and there were lawsuits, and he had to go to court, and the Mets got rid of him, and he thought that his career was at an end. And then the Royals traded for him, sending Kevin McReynolds back to New York for him. Fastball is high, and it's 2-1.
Well, everybody, including Whitey Herzog. I mean, I remember talking to Whitey in 1985. He said, we just want this guy to get on base somehow. And he talked to him. And he said, listen, you'll get the same pitch to hit 3 and 2 as you will early in the count because they don't want to walk you. And Vince will tell you that, with the exception with the first base open or something, a runner in scoring position, they throw him strikes because a walk can be a double or a triple.
And Mike Messina's behind on Coleman, 3-1.
He's a switch hitter. He can turn around. The breaking ball is always coming into him. Everybody thinks this is going to be the guy that's really going to ignite my offense.
Three and 2. Whitey Herzog also said of Coleman, he's not really a bad guy, but he's a follower, and sometimes he hangs around the wrong people and follows them when they do some things they shouldn't.
Well, if he can light a fire under himself, then he's going to help this ball club. You can't steal first, so you got to hit a little bit.
Messina goes right after him with the hard stuff, and he fouls it off.
So Coleman stays healthy, plays 100 games or so. I bet you'll probably see somewhere between 40 and 45 stolen bases.
He feels he's capable of again stealing 100 bases. He worked very hard during the offseason with Mac Newton, the fitness guru in Arizona. The guy who's also worked with Mark Mclemore and Bo Jackson. Has his legs in great shape. He's looking forward to having a big year. Messina strikes him out. The plate umpire, Jim Evans, ruling that Chris Hoiles held the foul tip long enough, even though he eventually dropped it.
Well, this is what you like to see from Messina. Look at this ball. It's a two-seam fastball. It starts in the middle and tails all the way to the corner. He did not have this movement. This will give you a better idea. That ball ending up right where you like to throw it, even though it's 3-2, because it's very tough to get wood on it. Didn't see a lot of those in spring training.
So after falling behind in the count 3-1, Messina comes back to strike out Coleman. Brian Mcrae takes a fastball high. He lined to the second baseman Mclemore his first time up. Orioles 1, Royals nothing. Top of the third. Two and 0.
Yeah, Brian has cut down on his swing, something that you alluded to and hinted at a little earlier, Mel. He's made the difference at the plate. He's not altering his stance as much. He's going the opposite way with balls that are pitched away from him. It's made him a better hitter. It allowed him to raise his average almost 60 points last year.
3-0 to Mcrae.
That's a perfect example of that last pitch, John. That's a pitch that 2-0, he would have said, I'm going to swing, and if it's a little bit high,
that's right,
he'd swing at it anyway. Now he has a 3-0 count. Could either walk or eventually get a good pitch to hit down further down the count.
Swinging away 3-0 that time, hoping they might tie it with one swing.
Well, he did hit 12 home runs last year, but you know, he's not a home run hitter, at least not in my estimation. That doesn't mean he can't become one.
Well, he's a natural right-handed hitter as a switch hitter, and that's right, you know, that's where he hit 322, only hit 266 from this side.
Fastball is high, and Mcrae draws a walk. The second given up by Mike Messina. So again, the Royals have the tying run on as they did in the second. Messina was able to work himself out of a jam, and now facing the heart of the batting order, Wally Joyner coming up, the number 3 hitter. He flied to right his first time up.
Well, you mentioned that early in his career hit 30-plus home runs. I asked Hal Mcrae yesterday, I said, can he hit home runs in Kansas City? He said, no, they go to the warning track. If you put him in this ballpark, he'll hit you 40 home runs.
In 2 years in Kansas City, he's hit 5 home runs in that ballpark. Got him. Messina picks off Mcrae to end the inning.
How about the quick tag right here, Jimmy?
Yep. Well, it pays to pay attention.
So Mike Messina picks off Mcrae to end the rally for the Royals. It's still 1-0 Orioles.
Wednesday, it's the HTS Orioles season opener. Our new look O's are locked and loaded to begin a run for it all. Now, a first test against last year's kids from nowhere, Kansas City. The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Here's a camera tip. In order to get a nice steady picture, one that doesn't jiggle or bounce around, remember, it's important your camera be mounted on a solid object specially designed to minimize vibration. Dodge Intrepid, running at, let's say, 85 miles an hour, would be a particularly good choice. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Welcome back to Oriole Park at Camden Yards. On opening day, the Orioles lead the Kansas City Royals 1-0. Mike Devereaux hit a one-out home run off Kevin Apier in the first inning to give the Orioles the lead.
Now, well, don't wander off first too far and not show some urgency to scurry back like Brian Mcrae did. Not with Messina out there on the mound.
And that's one of the things that John Oates would like to pride himself in having this ball club be able to do. Not just hit home runs, but pick themselves up defensively, and this is part of it.
And here's Devereaux's home run earlier in the game. Tremendous shot to left to give the Orioles the lead.
Fastball low and in. We'll see how he pitches him this time.
Off-speed pitch for a strike. Kevin Apier has allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Fastball is smoked to right center field. Mcrae on the run. Makes it. Oh, catch.
What a play.
He got a tremendous jump. He picked that ball off the bat right away and just made a superb play.
And you'll see this happen more often during the course of the season, too, from this ball club, because they have some guys out there who can actually go and get that ball. Look at this full out dive, sprawled completely. Oh, that ball almost come out. What a grand play right here. As a defender, you got to defrost those frozen ropes and convert them into outs, and that's what he did. Majestic.
Raphael Palmeiro with a half swing, and it's 0-1. Palmeiro fouled to the catcher his first time up. We told you he hits very well in this park. .321 lifetime. Bounce foul up the first baseline. I was visiting with him this spring and talking about his conversion from a high average hitter with the Cubs to a power hitter with the Texas Rangers. And he said it was really just a matter of maturity, learning how to hit. And he also started weightlifting and got much stronger in the upper body. But he said a lot of it was just looking to hit the ball out in certain situations when the count was in his favor, 2-0 or 3-1. If he got a fastball he liked, turning on it, trying to hit it with some authority.
He's not a big guy, doesn't have big hands, doesn't have the kind of hands that can just crush you in a handshake. But he does have good bat speed, as you alluded to earlier, Jimmy. And he gets the bat through the strike zone quickly.
That's what Greg Biagini, very few hitters, again, talk about that bat velocity. But I insulted him last year. I said, boy, you look trim. He says, I do. I'm trying to get bigger. He does do a lot of weightlifting.
Fastball just missing, low and away, and it's 2-2 to Palmeiro.
He's also got a reputation, too, because most hitters can't take that pitch right there. Even though it was off the plate a little bit. Got a good eye.
3-2, and you can hear Apier's reaction.
Voicing his displeasure of not being able to control that forkball.
Yeah, I think Raphael Palmeiro knows he can hit .330, but he also knows he can hit .295 like he did last year with power. If he'll make some concessions, and that's what you talked about, Mel. Look for pitches you can drive. You know, maybe look inside half, pull off a few balls.
Up the middle, a base hit. And Palmeiro has his first hit as an Oriole.
Well, Jimmy, you were talking about Messina falling off the mound to his left a little bit. How about Apier, even more exaggerated, and he scurries for cover instead of trying to knock that bouncer down.
Well, you do become a defender. You become a defensive person the minute you release the ball. And that's what Pat Dobson talked about. He falls off so much that you can't field your position. He was more, I'm talking about Pat Dobson, worried about the effect on his arm, but the effect there is a base hit into center field.
Palmeiro's first regular season hit wearing his new uniform. And here's Harold Baines, who absolutely murdered the Royals pitching staff last year. Hits one sharply to Gagne. Over to Lean, who fires to first for the double play. No runs, one hit, nobody left. At the end of 3, the Orioles lead Kansas City 1-0.
Eat 5 a day? Me?
I don't have the time.
Like 5?
Health experts recommend that we eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And it's easier than you think with Giant's Strive for 5 program. Look for our brochures and recipe cards. Eating 5 a day is one of the most important changes you can make to improve your health.
Well, actually, 5 a day would be pretty easy.
This place chops, slices, seasons, cooks. Unlike most fast food places, folks at Popeyes actually do cook. Chopping to slicing, marinating to battering.
This place cooks.
New Orleans-style chicken, never frozen.
This place cook. Yes, I cook.
Popeyes.
You cook.
No, I'm just the announcer. Here to say that right now, get 5 pieces for just $3.99 or 9 pieces for just $5.99. That is great.
And so are you.
Why, thank you.
Yes, this place cooks. Cook.
Popeyes.
It cooks.
Here's what it's like to spend a few moments with Capital star Dale Hunter during the Cap playoff drive.
Now Dale Hunter is there, and they score!
Now the Islanders face an entire game with Dale Hunter and the Capitals. Tuesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Fair warning.
O's TV on WJZ is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, now offering service from BWI to Chicago and Cleveland. And by Bell Atlantic Mobile. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile.
A shot from high atop Oriole Park at Camden Yards, where the Orioles lead the Kansas City Royals 1-0 on opening day. Mel Proctor with Jim Palmer, John Lowenstein welcoming you back. Mike Devereaux's home run the first inning gave the Orioles the lead, and Mike Messina has pitched 3 strong innings so far, allowing just 1 base hit. Wally Joyner will lead off the 4th. He was up in the 3rd when Brian Mcrae was picked off to end the inning. Ball 1. Now, Jim, it's going to be interesting to see how Messina goes after these hitters the second time through the order. He threw mostly fastballs the first time around.
Well, if he makes the quality pitches he's capable of, he shouldn't have a problem. His stuff's that good. But this is what happened in spring training. He would start somebody off the knuckle curveball, which he did. Then he would try to make a perfect pitch and miss. And now it's 2-0. And if Joyner has been watching, he's got to look fastball here.
Fastball, but low, and it's 3-0.
You know, and Hal Mcrae, I mean, he learned from Charlie Lau, who was the batting instructor, along with George Brett, and I could see him over there when I was pitching. They'd be discussing what I was going to do the next time.
There's a strike, and it's 3-1 to Joyner, who flying to right his first time up. Wally beginning his 3rd year with the Royals after signing as a free agent. Fastball hit sharply at Mclemore. And Mark throws him out.
Tell you what, it's become a pitcher's duel now with both of these hurlers settling into a groove.
Well, if you took away the spring training stats, you would expect that. I mean, 2 of the American League's finest right-handers.
Mike Mcfarland up for the second time. He walked to open the 2nd inning. Next batter up, Gagne singled, and Mike Messina was able to get out of the jam without allowing a run. Fastball is fouled back.
Well, when Mike came up, he was a line drive hitter, used the whole field, but he has become a pull hitter with power. Led the team with 20 home runs, but loves a ball out over the plate and is trying to deposit it in the left field bleachers in a hurry.
He gets a hold of one, sends it high in the air to deep left field. It's gone, and the game is tied.
I'm going to give that one to you, Jim.
That's it. That's exactly what he tried to do, and he got a pitch he could handle.
So Mcfarland, who hit 5 home runs to lead the club this spring, unloads off Mike Messina to tie it up.
Now here's the fastball. I mean, that ball is about letter high. Apparently just where he's looking.
He can march to the front of the line on that blast, I'll tell you. He unwraps those hands into the ball about as quickly as anyone.
Home runs have accounted for all the scoring. Mike Devereaux's homer gave the Orioles the lead, and now Mcfarland has tied it up. Gary Gagne sends a ground ball in the hole. Cal Ripken slides over and throws him out. The gopher ball has troubled Mike Messina of late. In his last 4 spring training games, he gave up a home run in each game. And now won on opening day to Mcfarland.
Well, I was listening the other night. You guys did the game against the White Sox against the Orioles, and Lance Johnson. John made a the statement that he's hit with more power and the next pitch. Or you actually said, I think, how did he ever hit these many home runs? And the next pitch is a 3-run home run.
That's how.
And again, I think the count was 3-1. He got behind in the count.
Well, he did. And instead of the ball being away, where it usually is off Mike Messina, out of the center of the plate, he's just had trouble with too many pitches down the middle.
Lance Johnson had 4 home runs his entire career, none last year, 3 2 years ago. But this spring had hit 4 of them, came up and hit a 3-run shot off Messina. In his last 2 outings against the Twins and the White Sox, they both pounded him hard. The Twins had 10 hits off him in 6 innings, and so did the White Sox. 1-2, the count to Bob Hamlin, who grounded to first, his first time up. Breaking ball is rolled to Raphael Palmeiro, over to Messina covering. But the Royals tie it up on a solo homer by Mike Mcfarland. They go to the bottom of the 4th in a 1-1 game.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Frequent flyers on most airlines are thousands of miles from a free trip. But on Southwest Airlines, our company club frequent flyer members are only 8 short round trips away. Southwest Airlines Company Club, the shortest route to free trips.
Friday, it's the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener. Off-season, the O's raided the Rangers for slugger Raphael Palmeiro. Now, Jose Canseco and company aim to pay back our power-packed O's. The WNUV 54 Orioles season opener, Friday at 7:30 on WNUV 54.
Orioles, Capitals, got it all! Drink and fight, high and tight. Still does it right. One point, your sports, ATS.
Join HTS's Smoke and Al Token for the Caps Report, 1/2 hour before every Caps game on HTS.
Our all-sports stat of the day is an opening day performer. Cal Ripken Jr. has batted .304 with 3 home runs, and that average includes a single his first time up today. Hey, it's opening day. Got to be excited.
What's going on here? Too much to eat, too much cotton candy,
Obviously
hot dogs.
doesn't like pitching duels either.
Could be a future slugger.
Cal will lead off the 4th inning against Kevin Apier. A 1-1 ball game. Home run by Mike Mcfarland has tied the score.
Cal was as eager as anyone to get this season started. And you can understand it by all the personnel around him.
Yeah, he really plays that down, but he's got a much more happy-go-lucky attitude as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you can just see it. He's chirping a little bit.
I think at times in the past he felt like he was pulling the wagon by himself, and he really appreciates the commitment by owner Peter Angelos to bring in some players to complement him. And now he realized he's got a chance to get back in the World Series. Strike 1. Put in another rigorous offseason, staying in condition, playing basketball at the gym, full-court gym he has at his house in Hunt Valley, and lifting weights. Working out 3 or 4 hours a day to get ready for spring training. Foul ball, 1-2.
I think you do have to be more persistent along those lines as you age in this game, because your body needs to be told that you're going to push it. You can't let it fall behind, and that's something that Rip has never let his body do. He's still a young man. He's only 33 years old.
Well, hasn't lost any appreciable speed because that was never really a major part of his. Reflexes are still there. Able to play a fine shortstop. Still has arm strength.
Bounce foul.
think another thing, it helps him to have some other high-priced talent on the ball club, because it does take the pressure. Al Mcrae saying, I said, has the game really changed? He said, no, but there are a lot of players that don't have fun playing anymore because they can't live up to their price tags. And the salaries, I mean, everybody's making a lot of money.
Broken bat roller on the left side. Gagne over to first. One out.
I'd like to try.
Well, Jim's already tried to come back now. You might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, that would have been for a salary cut, though.
Yeah, those big contracts are gone as far as we're concerned.
Chris Hoyles up for the second time. He flied to center field his first time up. 1-1 tie, bottom of the fourth. Fastball for a strike.
And this is rapidly becoming the kind of pitching matchup we might have seen early last year or the year before.
About another 20 minutes, that shadow is going to get out at home plate to make it even more difficult. The pitcher will be in the sun and the batter will be in the shade.
Kevin Apier, a first-round draft pick in June of 1987. He played college ball at Antelope Valley Junior College in California and then Fresno State. 2-1. He was 12-8 in 1990 and was American League Rookie Pitcher of the Year. 13-10 the next year, and has put together two brilliant seasons. 15-8 with a 2.46 ERA 2 years ago, and last year 18-8 with a 2.56 ERA to lead the league. 2-2 to Chris Hoyles.
Well, if he'd have received some of the run support of some of his contemporaries, he'd have had 20 victory seasons back-to-back. That's how good he's been the last couple of years.
Yeah, Bruce Keeson said, you know, he understands what pitching's all about. He's got about a 160 IQ.
Oh, wait a minute. Does that mean you can do math problems well or pitch well?
He can probably do everything well. We know he can pitch well. He's like the Steiner. You could have made it. I don't know why you wasted your time playing left field and the infield. You could have been a pitcher.
Too dangerous.
Beaten foul. Last year, right-handed batters hit 184 against Kevin Apier.
I can see it.
Oh, we saw when he broke Cal Ripken's bat to start this inning. He's got the fastball that'll come in on him. He's got the forkball that's going down, and he's got a hard slider, if you're right-handed, that goes away from you. So he makes you really cover all 17 inches of the plate. And when you get 2 strikes, that's exactly what you have to do as a hitter. He's not one-dimensional. Doesn't pitch everybody away. He can go in, away, up, or down.
That's well hit down the left field line and off the wall. Chris Hoyles into second base with a 1-out double. The Orioles now have 5 hits off Kevin Apier.
I tell you, Hoyles has such a measured, almost calculated swing he takes at the plate. It almost comes in 2 stages. So when you think you got the ball by him, then you're surprised he's able to pull the ball like this. It's nice. Look at that nice casual stroke he takes there, and the ball ends up down the left field corner.
And that's Chris Hoyles' first ever hit against Kevin Apier. Here's Chris Sable, who walked his first time up. Go-ahead run at second base with 1 out. That's well hit, but it's hooking and foul. And Sable broke his bat.
You know, you try to get a read on new acquisitions, and had a chance to talk to Darren Dalton behind the batting cage on Saturday, along with Jim Fregosi, as we take a look. It looked like a breaking ball, a little bit up in the zone, but I asked Darren Dalton, I said, you face Sable. He said he's going to help you. Now, he said he's got holes on both sides of the plate. You can pitch him way in or way away. He said, but you can do that to everybody. But if you make a mistake with a breaking ball or a high fastball, because he's a real good high ball hitter, he's going to hurt you. And he said he'll help you with the glove at third base.
Apier tries to work him in and misses. Chris drove in 82 runs last year for the Reds. Also hit 21 home runs and played most of the season with a ruptured disc in his back. According to Ray Knight, one of the Reds coaches, they actually had to force him to go on the disabled list. He wanted to continue to play. Now that is a rarity these days. Said he was angry when they put him on the DL. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count to Sabo. Chris Hoyles at second base with 1 out. Score tied 1-1. He rips it foul. The Orioles had some misgivings about his health when they were negotiating with he and his agent during the offseason. He'd had some ankle and knee problems and the ruptured disc last year, and when he was up in the executive suite conversing with Roland Heeman and Doug Melvin, Sabo said, "Hey, I'll take off my street clothes right now, put on some shoes, go down on the field, and show you that I can run, that I'm healthy." And they really like that attitude. We go around on the appeal. No swing, says the first base umpire, Darrell Cousins.
Darrell knows a good check swing.
Yeah.
He took a few of them during his minor league career.
He knows a home crowd when he sees one.
There's that ball you're talking about. You're running it in on him and getting that commitment.
Now look where the bat head goes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That could have been a double. Break for the O's right there.
3-2, the count to Sabo. Struck him out. That's the first strikeout for Kevin Napier, and with 2 down, it'll bring up Mark Mclemore.
But there's your pitcher throwing something other than he expected. A little wrinkle in it. But it was upstairs. Good high ball hitter. So even though he dangled it over the heart of the plate, he didn't get burned.
That's one of those backup sliders. The hitter anticipates it moving away, and it just kind of hangs there. It doesn't end up where you anticipate it to be.
Look out. Fastball almost got him. 1-0 to Mclemore, who flied to center his first time up.
Well, he turned away from this nicely. I mean, that could have hit him in the point of the elbow right here had he left it there.
Mclemore up there with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Last year he hit .303 with men in scoring position. One run, 5 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for the Royals. Grounded foul. Mclemore came to camp this year in a much different situation than in the past. He was under contract, didn't have to come in as a non-roster player and make the club, and he had a position. Unlike last year. Into right field, base hit. Chris Hoyles will try to score. Henderson's throw to the plate. Hoyles is safe. He dropped the ball. Well, Mark Mclemore, who last year was a very productive hitter with runners in scoring position, comes through again.
Well, you do exactly what you want if you're Dave Henderson. You charge it, you make a good throw. Throws up the line a little bit, but he's going to be out if Mcfarland catches the ball. And I think reputation of Jeffrey Hammond's got Mclemore as we take another look right there. If he holds on, he's got a chance to be called out. But Hammond's on deck, first base open, and they pitch to Mclemore because of the reputation of Jeffrey Hammond.
And the Orioles are back on top 2-1. Hammonds gets a hold of one, sends it high in the air to left center field. And Brian Mcrae makes the catch, but the Orioles regain the lead on an RBI single by Mark Mclemore. With the score, the Orioles 2, the Royals 1. This is the Orioles Television Network.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
At National Car Rental, everything we do is aimed at one single goal, to keep you moving. So choose National, because green means go.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
They test car batteries here. They test pickup trucks here. And when they test yard machines, they go here, Dave Spivey's house. MTD tractors, chipper shredders, lawn mowers, and edgers tackle the toughest jobs. Look for MTD yard machines at retailers near you. MTD.
Wow! I like it!
MTD yard machines, American made, American owned.
The all-new Gallant brings thoughtful details to every corner of its cabin.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Twin cup holders for driver and passenger. Extra storage under the armrest. A rear seat that folds down.
Brown paper packages tied up with...
Even the trunk has a trunk in the all-new Gallant. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
The Orioles 1994 yearbook is 96 pages packed with photos and stats on all your favorite Orioles. To order, send $8 plus $3 postage and handling to Yearbook, P.O. Box 33282 in Baltimore, or call 1-800-210-7436.
I tell you, Hoyles knew that he was going to have to get to the plate as quickly as possible. And unfortunately for Mike Mcfarland, had he held on to the ball, he would have been out. But again, the Orioles came right back and recaptured the lead after having had the game tied up.
The Orioles lead it 2-1 as we go to the fifth inning. Dave Henderson, Greg Gagne, and Jose Lean, the bottom of the order, coming up for Kansas City. Henderson grounded to the pitcher his first time up. Fastball is low from Mike Messina. Henderson missed most of the 1992 season with badly pulled hamstrings. Last year's leg still bothered him some, but he was able to get into 107 games for the A's and hit 20 home runs. High fly ball to shallow center field. Mike Devereaux coming in. One out. It was Devereaux who gave the Orioles the lead with a first inning home run. Then Mike Mcfarland tied it up at the top of the fourth. The Orioles untied it with a Mark Mclemore base hit in the bottom of the fourth. Greg Gagne coming up for the second time. Gagne came up with 2 outs in the second, runners at second and third. And Mike Messina struck him out with 2 strikes on Gagne. Threw him a fastball that just painted the black. A perfect pitch on the outside corner. Starts him off with a fastball, and he pops it up. Devereaux jogging in. 2 down.
Mike Messina did not get many of these lazy outs in spring training. So, I mean, this is a complete turnaround here that we're seeing here this afternoon.
Well, he's done a number. First of all, he has to pick off, but he got the key out against Henderson you just talked about, Mel, and he got the key strikeout against Gagne. He wasn't doing any of those things.
Jose Lean hit a comebacker to Messina his first time up. The Orioles playing very shallow in the outfield on Lean, shading him toward right field. He just tries to punch everything to center and to right center.
Yeah, that short, compact stroke makes it almost impossible for pitchers to strike him out.
1-1.
He really is hardly a threat at the plate.
Yeah, the type of guy that you make him hit the ball over your head. Even, you know, normally you move back a little bit with 2 outs, but up 431 times. A couple of triples and 13 doubles last year. No home runs. Not a lot of extra base power. Doesn't steal bases, only 3.
He makes his living with his glove. Great glove man. Won a Gold Glove for the Pirates 2 years ago. Last year led Major League second baseman in fielding. A roller up the middle. Cal Ripken is up with it. And a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Messina. We go to the bottom of the fifth with the Orioles leading the Royals 2-1.
You can't use a mobile phone to say,
Okay, we're ready to sign a contract.
you can't use a mobile phone to whisper.
Daddy misses you too, sweetheart.
A mobile phone will not let you send.
Here comes the fax.
And it will not let you hear.
The meeting's been changed.
Unless
Hello?
the call goes through. A mobile phone is only as good as the system it's on. Choose Bell Atlantic Mobile.
HTS in April. It's time for Orioles baseball. It's playoff drive crunch time for the Cavs. It's spoiler time for the Bullets. It's time for ACC lacrosse. ACC baseball. It's time for the stars of tennis, the Boston Marathon, and much, much more. It's a great time in April on HTS. Wednesday, it's the HTS Orioles season opener. Our new look O's are locked and loaded to begin a run for it all. Now, a first test against last year's kids from nowhere, Kansas City. The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
It's opening day here at Camden Yards, and the Orioles lead the Kansas City Royals 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And the Orioles will have the top of the order coming up against Kevin Napier, Brady Anderson, Mike Devereaux, and Raphael Palmeiro. Napier has allowed 2 runs on 6 hits so far. Walked 1, struck out 1.
Well, you won't see either of these starters here this afternoon throwing 5 innings and coming out. This is not spring training. This is serious business here this afternoon.
Napier and Messina dueling today on Wednesday as the series resumes. Ben Mcdonald will face David Cohn, 2 hard luck pitchers from a year ago. 2 guys who really threw well but didn't have much run support.
Cohn got 2.9 runs per start. Been a little over 4 runs a game.
Ball 1 to Brady Anderson, who has flied to left and grounded to third.
I talked earlier about how the Royals went 2-9 last year, 1-16, but the Orioles started out last year 5-13, and it's tough to play well when you see, I mean, the best that the other team has to offer early in the season with all the off days.
And I would think it's doubly important this year to get off to a good start because there are such high expectations for this club. From ownership on down to the fans, this team is expected to get out of the gate quickly. And if they don't, there's going to be some pressure on this club. 2-1.
Well, they played well. The end of spring training went 13-6 with 1 tie over their last 20 games. Pitching got a little bit better, not exactly where they'd like to have it.
They began spring training losing 9 of their first 11 before catching fire. Rolled foul into the Oriole dugout. It's 2-2 to leadoff batter Brady Anderson.
I don't think you see very many good veteran ball clubs put together flashy spring trainings as far as 1-loss records are concerned, because so many of those guys are just trying to get ready for the season. I mean, this is get-go day here.
Struck him out.
Perfectly spotted.
Well, in my opinion, John, what sets that up, that pitch, is he went 2-1, 2 balls and 1 strike to Brady and threw him a split-fingered fastball, and now 2-2. What do you look for?
You couldn't have handed that ball to Mcfarland any better than that.
I mean, most hitters, especially left-handers, like the ball down in, but not that far down and not that far in.
Ball 1 to Mike Devereaux, who gave the Orioles the lead with a first-inning home run. His first home run ever off Kevin Napier. Napier is very stingy with a long ball. Not only did he allow only 8 home runs all year last season, he also gave up only 3 to right-handed batters.
I think, Mel, that's because he has such a variety of pitches out there, and variety can work wonders on the mound. Very infrequently can a pitcher make it through a game solely on the basis of 1 pitch.
Everybody, all these young pitchers now trying to come up with 3 and 4 pitches. Really what you need is more than 1. So the hitter will have to guess. Can't look for 1 specific pitch.
Fastball is high and away, and it's 2-1 to Devereaux. Orioles 2, Royals 1, bottom of the 5th.
Well, I'm sure it's been done using 1 pitch, but the idea is to somehow alter a hitter's approach at the plate. You can do that with more than 1 pitch.
3-1. So a good hitting situation now for Mike Devereaux with the count in his favor. And he walked it. Second walk given up by Apier, who didn't want to give into him and throw him anything over the plate, and gives up the walk.
But actually, the lineup is constructed so that you hope that he doesn't challenge him, because this guy's coming up next.
So Raphael Palmeiro comes up with a runner at first. He's fouled to the catcher and singled in 2 at-bats today. Palmeiro, a .207 lifetime hitter against Apier. Ball 1.
I think there's a tendency for hitters, if you're not surrounded by other good hitters, to be afraid to take a walk. And the point you make is that if you're Mike Devereaux and you've hit a home run, you don't get a pitch to hit, and he's willing to walk you, you'll let the next guy drive you in.
Two 2-0 the count to Palmeiro as Apier tried to stay away from his power and fell behind 2-0, and that brings the catcher Mcfarland out to the mound.
Well, you can understand it, Mel, because a hittable fastball is very much a part of most hitters' balanced diets at the plate. That's the pitch right there that Palmeiro wants to hit out there, and that's the pitch that Al Mcrae does not want to see thrown.
But it's funny, Mike Mcfarland, I said, when Apier gets in trouble, I said, you know, what usually causes it? He said he gets away from his fastball. He's afraid to throw it. He's afraid to throw it to Devereaux, and here right now he's afraid to throw it because he knows Palmeiro's looking for it and fully capable of launching it.
He gets a strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-1, so he made a quality pitch. 2-0.
See, that's the pitch. If you're Kevin Apier, you want Palmeiro to swing it because he can't hit it. Look where it is. The new camera we have, in fact, it's outside. Looks outside, but looked pretty good from the center field camera.
Mike Devereaux draws the throw. Devereaux has said he wants to increase his stolen base totals, but you don't figure he's going to run much with Palmeiro hitting behind him.
No, not necessary, unless he wants to run later in the game, in a closer game.
Oh, good off-speed pitch by Apier, and it's 2-2.
First one he's thrown this afternoon, too. Picked a good spot. And obviously, if you're Palmeiro, you're not expecting this, that he's going to exploit that particular pitch at this time for the first time this afternoon.
2-1 changeup.
Yeah, dandy.
Splitter low, and it's 3-2. On deck is Harold Baines. Devereaux is running. Swing and a miss by Palmeiro. The throw to second base. He's safe. Well, Palmeiro strikes out, but Mike Devereaux steals second.
Yet another changeup from Apier got Palmeiro that time. And almost a quick swipe tag here got Devereaux, but that head first slide helped him.
Well, this is what we talked about, team speed, though. If you are going to put a runner in motion, good enough speed to get to second, Mcfarland on a 3-2 count has to wait and make sure that the umpire has a good view of the play, even though the ball was eventually swung at. Otherwise, he takes the pitch away, and you have a first and second situation.
Swing and a miss by Harold Baines, who singled and grounded into a double play. Baines killed the Royals last year. He had .459 against them with 17 hits in 37 at-bats, and in one stretch from April 30th to May 2nd against Kansas City, he had 8 consecutive hits.
Yeah, but we're seeing some real pitching here this inning.
Fastball is hit sharply into right field. Devereaux will try to score. Henderson's throw to the plate is cut off, and Devereaux scores. 3-1 Orioles.
I really have no idea why Kevin would make that pitch after pitching such a beautiful at-bat to Palmeiro and coming in with that pitch right there.
Well, last 2 innings, he's decided not to pitch the right-handers on deck and pitch to the lefties. Mclemore and here Baines. Now, if they cut this ball out, they get Baines because he's going to go to second, sacrifice himself to get the run in, even though Devereaux mostly likely would have scored with his speed. But a good pitch to hit, and he drives it into right field. But Harold feeling that maybe Henderson with a strong arm will be able to throw out Devereaux. They try to cut it off, and it goes all the way to the catcher. But 2 innings. And for a guy that led the American League in earned run average last year and a very low one 2 years ago, he could have pitched around left-handed pitchers to get to the righties and decided not to. And it's hurt him.
In this situation, perhaps what ended the thinking was that Cal Ripken has a .321 lifetime average against Apier.
I'm telling you, this lineup's like a migraine. It just won't go away. I mean, constant pressure.
The left-hander Brewer and right-hander Stan Belinda throwing in the bullpen. Pitching coach Bruce Keeson out to talk with Apier, who now trails 3-1. He's given up 3 runs on 7 hits.
So what do you take for it if it won't go away?
You go take a shower, John. You know, I mean, there are games that you pitch against another good opposing pitcher where you just have a sense that occasionally you do have to take some gambles. You have to take some risks. You have to pitch around people because if you give up a run, it's probably going to be the winning run. And today, the way Messina's pitching, this could be one of them.
Cal Ripken smokes one foul.
Now, I never was a proponent about putting runners on base, but sometimes you get that feeling. When I make a mistake, it's going to hurt me.
You know, the fans on left field line have to do a lot of ducking this season. Cal's got that head of the bat out front and early.
Baines, a very slow runner at second base. Cal goes the other way down the right field line. Foul. Just missed it. Ball had some slice on it.
Oh, boy, that was close. I'll tell you, civilization will not advance 1 iota until they widen the foul lines. If they do that, the guy's got a double, maybe even a triple. And when he's hitting his best, he's taking the ball the other way. Clearly foul. But how much do you want to widen it? That's the thing.
Well, baseball needs a commissioner. Well, step up, John.
Boy, would you confuse him.
Can you imagine him as commissioner? The game would never be the same.
Can you say yes? Can you be a yes man?
Probably not.
How do you look with strings attached to your arms? Half swing by Cal, but went around on the pitch, and he strikes out to end the inning. But the Orioles pick up another run at the end of 5. They lead the Royals 3-1.
When a person's recovering from a stroke, an injury, or an operation, we find out what they can do, not what they can't do. We help them return home and live again. We'll even go to their home and make things easier, like rearrange a room or build a special ramp. We do more so they can do more, like dress themselves. Or, you know, get on with the rest of their lives.
Here's what it's like to spend a few moments with Capital star Dale Hunter during the Cap playoff drive.
Now Dale Hunter is there, and they score!
Now the Islanders face an entire game with Dale Hunter and the Capitals. Tuesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Fair warning.
Friday, it's the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener. Off-season, the O's raided the Rangers for slugger Raphael Palmeiro. Now, Jose Canseco and company aim to pay back our power-packed O's. the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener, Friday at 7:30 on WNUV 54.
A look at the Good Samaritan Hospital scoreboard. Randy Johnson of Seattle flirted with a no-hitter. He took a no-hitter into the 7th before losing it. The Mariners and Indians are now tied 3-3 in the 11th. The Tigers lead the Red Sox 8-6 in the 8th inning. Final score, the Yankees beat the Texas Rangers 5-3, and in the 8th, Toronto leads the White Sox 4-2. And in the National League, the Reds leading by a run over the Cardinals. Montreal and Houston tied. Philadelphia opening the season in Colorado today. In the 7th, the Mets leading the Cubs. It's 1-0 Giants in the 2nd inning, and Atlanta plays to San Diego.
Pretty typical Detroit-Boston game, and evidently Clemens got rocked. Again, Toronto scores late to take the lead. You see that? Chicago's leading 2-1 in the 7th. Now they're behind 4-2.
Top of the order for the Royals in the 6th. Vince Coleman, Brian Mcrae, and Wally Joyner to face Mike Messina. Coleman shows bunt and takes ball 1. Vince has grounded to second and struck out. Mike Messina's turned in 5 strong innings, throwing mostly fastballs, an occasional knuckle curve, and very few changeups.
And if you're Kansas City, in this kind of game right here, a close game, is when you want your speed merchants on base more often.
Fly ball to left center field. Brady Anderson coming in. And they managed to keep Vince Coleman off the bases today. He's 0 for 3.
Yeah, the Orioles will take those lazy fly balls from him all afternoon long.
Brian Mcrae up for the 3rd time. He's lined to second, walked in the 3rd, and then Messina picked him off. In addition to having a great arm, good stuff, Messina does all the little things as well. He fields his position very well. Holds runners as well as any right-handed pitcher, and he picked Mcrae off in a key situation in the 3rd. And I suppose if pitchers could bat in this league, he'd probably be a good hitter too, because he just does everything well.
And part of that is intelligence. I mean, he knew Mcrae stole 23 bases last year. He knew it was a running situation. And one thing Dick Bosman, a pitching coach, talks about is identifying leads, knowing who's on first, what their capabilities are. That's why he'll teach the pitchers from the stretch position. If you're right-handed, that left shoulder's open a little bit, so you can see what kind of lead the runner at first is getting. You know when to throw over.
Ground ball to Mark Mclemore. 2 down. This is certainly an encouraging performance for Mike Messina in light of his poor spring, and I'm sure if it continues, it's going to do a lot for his confidence, because visiting with him after his last outing against the White Sox, I sense that his confidence was a little down. He seemed a little bewildered at the fact that he couldn't get hitters out.
Well, we saw him pitch twice in spring training, Mel. He was pitching on the outside of the framework of the strike zone, and now he has gradually made that transition now to within the framework of the strike zone.
You know, Jim, as you can attest, so much of pitching is confidence and believing that you can get hitters out.
Well, I said, you know what you need to do yesterday, and he said, yes, but when's it going to happen? And I looked at him in the face and I said, when you make it happen. I mean, here's a guy, muscle memory, he talks about that. I think he doubted himself. But I'm seeing a lot of good pitches this inning.
Mclemore over to first to retire Wally Joyner, and the Royals another strong inning for Messina. The Orioles lead 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Southwest Airlines has one of the best on-time records in the country.
Mr. Smith, you're early.
Just something to remember. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart.
The World Cup, the ultimate sports event, seen by more fans than the Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup, and the NBA Finals combined. The World Cup, played on U.S. soil for the first time ever. Now, find out everything you need to know and more with Soccer 94. The favorites, the dark horses, and follow the progress of the upstart U.S. World Team. When it comes to the World Cup, you'll know the score with Soccer 94. Only on HTS.
Time for NBA action. A high-flying hoop show that's on top of the game. You get it all.
Here's Isaiah. The hottest players in team. Your favorite personality. And the greatest plays of the week. All this and more coming your way in NBA action.
Every Tuesday night at 6:30, only on HTS.
The Roy Rogers game summary. Mike Devereaux gave the Orioles the lead with a home run off Kevin Apier in the first inning. The Royals then tied it up as Mike Mcfarland connected off Mike Messina in the fourth. But Mark Mclemore singled in a run to give the Orioles a lead in the fourth. Harold Baines added to the lead with an RBI single in the fifth, and the Orioles lead 3-1. The Royals make a pitching change. Stan Belinda comes on to work the sixth. Starter Kevin Apier is finished after 5 innings of work. Gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, walked 2, struck out 4, and allowed 1 home run. Here's Belinda, the ex-Pirate, who was acquired before the trading deadline late last July.
Well, Apier didn't exactly struggle through 6 innings, but I'm sure he'll tell you he wasn't his sharpest in a close game, and now you get a more or less a sidearm hurler out there on the mound, and that gives the left-handers and right-handers a little different look out there.
Well, the left-handers did not have much problem in last year. They hit 380, over 380. Right-handers struggled because, I mean, from a left-hander's vantage point, John, as you know, his arm's right out there. You see the ball real well. Does not have a great breaking ball. Pretty good fastball, but not that overpowering where he can just stand out there and throw fastballs by you. Trying to get a slider, but that's pretty flat, and he really needs a third pitch. You can either come up with a split finger or a changeup, give the hitter another view from home plate.
The Orioles will send up 2 right-handed batters, and Chris Hoiles and Chris Sabo, and the switch-hitting Mark Mclemore to face Belinda in the 6th. Hoiles is flied to center, doubled and scored, and he takes a strike. Belinda was a closer with the Pirates. He is a setup man with the Royals since they have one of the best closers in Jeff Montgomery, but he had 19 saves last year for Pittsburgh. Breaking ball is outside, 1-1. Just off the plate, 2-1.
He's got a good fastball, but it's just a little too straight for a right-handed sidearmer. And that's why he flips up a lot of those sidearm breaking balls, little sidearm sliders, hoping he can keep it off the outside part of the plate.
Comes inside of the fastball, and now he's in trouble. 3-1 to Hoiles. Fastball is grounded foul up the third baseline. It's 3-2.
He was on the mound in 1992. Pirates had Atlanta beat. Francisco Cabrera came up and got a good fastball to hit, and base hits. Sid Bream came around, and Pirates went home, and Atlanta went on to the World Series.
Hit foul down the right field line.
The Royals are once again going to become dependent upon pitching and defense. So, you know, just like in those glory years when they were winning pennants. And they're going to have Belinda pitch at the top of his game because he's going to be in a lot of ball games this year.
Another foul ball, and it's 3-2 to Chris Hoiles, leading off the bottom of the 6th. Hoiles, like Cal Ripken, built a gym behind his house in Ohio. Says his basketball court is not quite as big as Cal's, but he has his weights in there and a batting cage. Struck him out with high gas.
Good zip, and that's how he'll strike people out, by getting them to go fishing out of the strike zone. Just keeps rising. It looks easy to hit until the ball explodes on the plate. Rising fastballs, most difficult pitch to hit in baseball.
Chris Sabo takes the first pitch inside. 2 National Leaguers meeting in the American League. Sabo, the ex-Red, Belinda, the former Pirate. Chris was 1 for 6 against Belinda in the National League. 1-1. Sabo today has walked and struck out. 2-1. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for Kansas City. Strike 2. 2-2. Last year, the Orioles won the season series 7-5 with Kansas City. Billy Brewer, the left-hander, still up in the bullpen. Ground ball to the shortstop. Gagne, long throw. Got him. Nice play.
Good range, good hands, and he's accurate.
One of the better arms around among shortstops.
They just ask you, if you're going to play short, they just ask you to make the routine plays. Now, he is prone to making them spectacular, but he has the hose to play that position.
He cut down his errors last year. He committed 18 2 years ago with the Twins, only 10 last year. He and Jose Lean really plugged up gaping holes in the middle of that infield last year. Mark Mclemore grounds it sharply right through the wickets. Mclemore's heading for second base. And he's in safely. Ball went right through Wally Joyner.
He thought the ball was going to come up. It didn't come up. I tell you, baseball is one of the few games where the defense is in charge of the ball. So, runs can only be scored when the defense is willing to give it up. And it behooves those who control it to handle it wisely. Because these kinds of errors right here lead to extra chances.
And even if it's not this inning, somewhere down the line. And the Orioles may not get 27 outs because they may not need them here at home.
So Joyner, who is normally one of the better fielding first basemen, boots a routine ground ball to put Mclemore at second with 2 outs. And that gives Jeffrey Hammonds a chance to drive in a run. He's flied to right and flied to center in 2 at-bats today. Ground ball fair down the right field line. That's going to bring in a run. Hammonds is going to try for third. He's in safely. 4-1 Orioles. The Orioles made him pay. Joyner with a miscue. Hammonds with a triple to make it 4-1.
Well, there's the extra chance, Jim, we were just talking about.
Well, Hal Mcrae said we don't score enough runs to give the other team 4 outs. And here's a perfect example. Jeffrey Hammonds, when he came up last year, hit the ball everywhere. Homered to left, doubled up the right field gap. Just a fastball away, and he goes right with it for a triple.
And it will not be scored as a triple, however. It'll be a double and an error charge to the right fielder, Dave Henderson, allowing Hammonds to go to third.
Well, look at it. Look at him shift it into high gear, though, when he sees that bobble in right field.
And that will do it for Stan Belinda as we get a pitching change. And it's now time for our Bell Atlantic call to the bullpen.
It's got a new cover, it's got a new name, but on the inside it's exactly the same. It's the real fine, genuine, more choices, gold mine, yellow pages from Bell Atlantic.
Presenting the genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. Same book, new name. 9 out of 10 use it. The genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages.
Real fine, genuine, more choices, gold mine, yellow pages from Bell Atlantic. Same book, new name.
Hal Mcrae makes a pitching change, bringing in the left-hander Billy Brewer to take over for Stan Belinda, who worked 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 1 run on 1 hit, no walks, 1 strikeout. He was almost out of the inning when Mark Mclemore hit a routine ground ball to first baseman Wally Joyner, who booted it for an error, allowing Mclemore to go to second. Jeffrey Hammonds doubled down the right field line with Mclemore scoring to make it 4-1, and Hammonds went to third on the error by Dave Henderson.
It's something we talk about. You give teams extra outs, and then you end up paying the price. It doesn't really matter how many relievers you throw out there. You got to get that final out of the inning, and Billy Brewer follows Stan Belinda, who couldn't escape the inning because of that error.
Brewer last year was a Rule 5 draftee taken from the Montreal Expos. He was in the same situation Sherman Obando was here. The Orioles drafting him from the Yankees. They had to keep him on the minor league roster or major league roster for the entire year, or return him in this case to the Expos. So they didn't figure he was going to pitch much, but he got an opportunity and made the most of it and wound up getting into 46 games last year.
Well, what he did so well is what left-handers out of the bullpen have to do, and that's get left-handed hitters out. They only hit 183. Righty's hitting a little bit higher at 260.
I liken Billy Brewer to the Jim Poole we have on this ball club here. Left-handed specialist in limiting lefties at the plate.
But the usually reliable Wally Joyner booting an easy ground ball to give the Orioles a run. It led to a run. It's now 4-1. And here's Brady, who's flied to left, grounded to third, and struck out. 2 outs. Jeffrey Hammond's at third. 4-1 Orioles. Breaking ball is high.
I tell you, Billy Brewer was a pleasant surprise considering his lack of experience, but now he's got to prevent this runner from scoring on third base.
Fastball in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Brady last year hit .259 against left-handed pitching.
Well, certainly did that last year, John. Came in with 35 runners on board, only 4 scored. Good way to impress the manager.
You're not kidding.
That's low, 2-1.
Used to be only be concerned about, you know, your earned run average and whatever, but now with that new statistics, inherited runners, a little bit better guideline how well you really did do.
Into left field, base hit, and another run to make it 5-1. Hammond scores on the single by Brady Anderson.
Well, they are making the most out of that inning extending error that was committed by Wally Joyner. And high fives all around. But you make it work because you're able to follow that error up with base hits that score runs. That's the difference between a ball club that is not opportunistic and one that is.
So Brady has his first RBI of the year. The Orioles lead 5-1. The run is charged to Stan Belinda. And here's Mike Devereaux. Ball 1. So Belinda in 2/3 of an inning gave up 2 runs. 2 unearned runs. One ball, 1 strike to Mike Devereaux, who got it started with a first inning home run to give the Orioles the lead. Then Mike Mcfarland tied it in the 4th with a solo homer. The Orioles regained the lead in the 4th on Mark Mclemore's base hit. Bain singled in and run in the 5th. And the Orioles have added 2 more in this inning to make it 5-1. Changeup is high, 2-1.
Well, Brewer would really like to prevent any further scoring opportunities here. You've got to nip this in the bud right now. Otherwise, an inning like this can get away from you.
Good fastball, 2-2.
Oh, I should say. But the placement of that fastball was more important than anything else.
That makes it even more impressive. Outside corner, moving away.
Brady Anderson is running, a swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Devereaux strikes out to end the inning, but the Orioles, capitalizing on a Wally Joyner error, score 2 runs and now lead the Royals 5-1.
Oh, man. Look what you did.
What I did? Just who do you think you are, man?
Who do you think I am?
Easy, fellas. What would he do?
Oh, the Yellow Pages?
Just any Yellow Pages?
Genuine Yellow Pages.
9 out of 10 use it.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much.
The genuine Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages.
Let me in, let me out. That's what power sliding's all about. Helps you in, helps you out. That's what power sliding's all about.
Now, the new Pontiac Transport gives you one touch other minivans don't. The all-new power sliding door. Just touch the button, let it slide.
New Pontiac Transport's ready to ride.
It started with an idea,
an idea that has now won the prestigious Thomas Edison Patent Award, which annually recognizes major innovations in technology. The award was won by Exxon for a gasoline additive that removes deposits for a cleaner engine, reduces emissions for cleaner air, and improves performance. Next time you fill up, rely on the award-winning gasolines from Exxon.
Hello, I'm Al Sanders. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll turn back the clock as baseball returns and give you a bird's-eye view from outside the park after the game.
Oriole Park at Camden Yards beginning its 3rd year, and for my money, still the most beautiful ballpark in baseball. So highly thought of that 2 of the new ballparks opening, Jacob Stadium in Cleveland and the ballpark in Arlington, Texas, very much emulating Camden Yards.
Yeah, that one in Cleveland, Gateway Park, is almost a reverse image of this one.
Gateway Park is now Jacob Stadium.
Oh,
after the owners.
Ah, well, why not?
Near the owners, you can do that.
I saw a blurb. They paid like $13 million to have the rights.
Uh-oh, Mike Mcfarland gets a hold of another one, sends it deep to left. Brady Anderson makes the catch in the warning track. Mcfarland homered his 2nd time up and hit that one hard.
Yeah, it appeared that Mike said, well, you know, I went to Stanford. It only took me 3 years to get through school. Why would he look for the same pitch he just hit a home run on? So I'll throw it. And he did. Right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, the old Bobby Bonds theory.
Mm-hmm.
And interrupted your discourse.
Oh, no. I just read something where they actually did have the name Jacobs Field. There was some money paid. I mean, I don't know if it's to have your actual name. $13 million over a period of 8 years or something.
You mean, you know, if John and I paid enough money that we could get Camden Yards renamed John and Mel Stadium?
Yeah, it's an ego buster.
After what they paid for this club, after what they're paying the players, most definitely.
A high fly ball to left field and deep. Brady Anderson back. He's got it very high.
But Messina has not staggered through the first 6+ innings of this game. Not since, nothing like we've seen in spring training. Absolutely nothing. I mean, he's pitched out of 1 jam and allowed a homer and a couple of hits, but that's it.
Well, that's 10 in a row.
The only hits he's allowed, a single by Gary Gagne in the 2nd and a 1-out home run by Mike Mcfarland in the 4th. Here's Bob Hamlin, who's grounded to first twice. Strike one. It seems strange to watch the Royals play and not see George Brett out there.
Well, I saw him yesterday. He was, he's now an executive vice president in charge of throwing batting practice. No, he was out there throwing BP.
George says he wants to do all the things. There he is. Looks strange in his suit, too. It says he wants to go to the Indianapolis 500 and do some of the things he hasn't had a chance to do all the years he was playing.
Doesn't he know that's on TV?
It's not the same. You got to be there.
Okay.
You got to go there and sweat.
Good changeup.
That's something we didn't see from Mike Messina. Bob Hamlin said, you know, he said, I saw a lot of breaking balls, and he said, and now if we could just get rid of the fork ball, everything would be fine. Apparently, that's a tough pitch to hit. It looks very much like a fastball.
Why not just throw in the slider and get rid of all of them?
Fastball is popped up, shallow left field. Brady Anderson toward the line.
Another one.
That does it for the Royals. So Mike Messina has turned in 7 strong innings and has a 5-1 lead.
Grandpa Shaq, tell us how basketball used to be.
Well, the basket wasn't always 20 feet tall.
What about 100-yard courts?
Not even close.
What happened?
All sport.
New All Sport. Unsurpassed taste. A third more carbs than Gatorade for energy. This is a body quencher.
After All Sport, the game was a breeze. Until they put in the moving basket.
All Sport. The game will never be the same.
Wednesday, it's the HTS Orioles season opener. Our new look O's are locked and loaded to begin a run for it all. Now, a first test against last year's kids from nowhere, Kansas City. The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS. HTS's Smokin' Al Token for the Caps Report. 1/2 hour before every Caps game on HTS.
Orioles, Capitals, Bullets, Redskins, got it all. Take and fight, high and take. HTS does it right. One point, go sports. HTS.
Another look at the Good Samaritan Hospital scoreboard. In 11 innings, Cleveland beat Seattle 4-3. The Red Sox over the Tigers 9-8 in a high-scoring game. The Yankees beat the Rangers 5-3, and Toronto downing Chicago 7-3. In the National League, the Cardinals and Reds tied in the 9th. Montreal and Houston also tied in the 9th inning. Philadelphia and Colorado just getting underway in Denver. The Mets lead the Cubs 12-7 in the 9th. San Francisco shutting out Pittsburgh. 1-0 to Raphael Palmeiro, leading off the bottom of the 7th. He's fouled to the catcher, singled, and struck out.
I imagine it's a nice warm afternoon in Denver, huh?
High fly ball to right field and deep. Has a chance. Goodbye. Welcome to Baltimore, Rafi. 6-1 Orioles.
"37 home runs last year, only 2 off lefties." Well, the rest of the season ought to be a piece of cake. Over the Chinese wall.
And Palmeiro stepping out to take a bow.
Mel, I wrote an article the other day. They said all you have to do is embrace him. I think he's already been embraced.
Embrace your first baseman.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big favorite here. A roller to the third baseman, Gagne, and the off-balance throw in time to get Baines.
But I'm telling you, the exploitation of that short right field porch has begun. We've seen it the last 2 games that have been played here, the last spring exhibition game and this one.
Well, no, for years we'd go into the Metrodome, and we'd wonder why people wouldn't take advantage of why the Twins didn't go out and get a left-handed bunch of hitters other than maybe Herbeck was already on the ball club and take advantage of the trash bag. A guy like Sam Horn, people like that. Well, this is very similar. Easily reachable if you have the right approach at the plate, and Palmeiro has that.
So Palmeiro hitting a home run off the left-hander Brewer. Baines grounded out, and now the right-hander Hippolito Pichardo coming in. Well, Raphael Palmeiro understandably upset at not being brought back to Texas. After all he did is hit 37 homers and drive in 105 runs. He was in the midst of building a dream house there, a 15,000 square foot palace. He and his wife would look forward to spending the rest of their life there. But I think once he gets over the hurt of having to change teams and coming here and experiences the baseball atmosphere here, he is going to love it, and the fans are going to love him.
Oh, he's evidently a very sensitive person, and really he'll get over it. I'm telling you this, the money you make in this game, the fact that he's got a great place to play baseball, and all this together will grow on him. And I'm sure it has already.
Understand he and his wife are renting a condo here in the Inner Harbor. They're going to get a taste of Little Italy and Oriole Park at Camden Yards and all the things that go with this great city. And I'm sure that by season's end, he'll love it.
Well, we're all going to get a taste of Little Italy, aren't we?
Tonight?
No, I don't know about tonight, but
Frank, I always got a taste of Little Italy over the weekend. Sabatino's. Hey kids, 16 and under, you can sign up now for the Cal Ripken Jr. Orioles Club, including the benefits or tickets to 3 Orioles home games this season. For more information, call 547-6140. But Raphael Palmeiro was born in Cuba, moved to Miami at the age of 6. As a youngster, used to go over to the old Miami Stadium where the Orioles trained and stand outside the wall there and catch home run balls when the Orioles hit them over the fence, and now he's doing the hitting.
Yeah, he's learned how to hit them by catching them. But he's got that elevation factor down perfectly. Couldn't be playing in a better ballpark than this one right here with his strengths.
And the Orioles enjoying themselves on opening day, leading 6-1 as Hippolito Pichardo takes over.
Well, Hippolito 7 and 8 last year with just over 4 in run average. But tell you what, he got plenty of room for improvement out there on the mound. He got a good live 90-plus heater. Good hard slider, a fork ball that runs away from most right-handed hitters, too.
And the Raphael Palmeiro home run worth another look.
That left-handed pitcher, Jimmy, getting that fastball on the inside part of the plate for a left-hander. And he elevated it just enough, and she comes down just on the other side, if not on top of this wall.
Strike one to Cal Ripken, who singled, grounded out, and struck out in 3 at-bats today. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 errors for Kansas City. 1-1.
But I'm telling you, finally, we've got the kind of music here during the 7th inning stretch that we can live with. That high leg, foot stomping. Thank God I'm a country boy. They got everybody on their feet, everybody in the ballpark, and look, it provided a home run.
Well, the old owner didn't like that music. Told him to stop playing it. Roller up the third baseline, and it's going to be a base hit. So the hits are coming in all shapes and sizes this afternoon. From the home runs by Devereaux and Palmeiro to the infield bleeder by Cal Ripken.
Well, that's what it was. That's a worm killer right there. Not a thing that can be done about it except just to let it roll.
Cal is now 2 for 4. And that's the 11th Oriole hit. Here's Chris Hoyles, who's flied out, doubled and scored, and struck out. Sharp ground ball to Gagne. Over to Lean, who fires to first with a double play. And that ends the inning, but the Orioles pick up a run on a leadoff homer by Raphael Palmeiro and now lead 6-1.
Hi, I'm Johnny Bench. You know, to really understand baseball, you got to speak the language. Did you get all that? I didn't think so. That's why there's Baseball Weekly from the editors of USA Today. Baseball Weekly gives you the lowdown on the majors, minors, and colleges. Each issue is packed with team reports, box scores, and stats for every game, plus tips for fantasy leaguers, collectors, college top 25 polls. And
he's hit Montgomery pretty well in the past, 4 for 12 with 1 home run. 2-0. Last year, Jeff Montgomery converted 45 of 51 save opportunities. Fastball for a strike, 2-1.
Well, he's a quick worker after he doesn't fool around. One pitch after another, just like a machine. The defense ordinarily will play better behind you because of that.
Foul tip, and it's 2-2. This is the 5th time the Orioles have met the Royals in a season opening game, and the Orioles have gone 3-1 in the previous 4. The last time was a game we mentioned in 1990 in Kansas City when Sam Horn hit a pair of home runs to lead the Orioles to a 7-6 11-inning win. And Montgomery strikes out the side.
Wow.
The end of 8. The Orioles lead the Royals 6-1.
Don't you have anything to fit me?
No offense, Mr. Jones, but you are a little on the small side.
I need more choices.
Harry, give me those genuine yellow pages. Look, choices. Italian, Greek, Chinese. You want more?
Those are restaurants.
That's right. You put some meat on those bones and come back and see us.
9 out of 10 use it.
Mexican, barbecue.
The genuine Val Atlantic yellow pages.
How about a smorgasbord?
Wednesday. It's the HTS Orioles season opener. Our new look O's are locked and loaded to begin a run for it all. Now, a first test against last year's kids from nowhere, Kansas City. The HTS Orioles season opener, Wednesday night at 7:30, only on HTS. The Bullets on HTS this April. Now it's time to play the spoiler. it's aimed to go out with a bang. All April long on HTS.
All rights to this telecast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this telecast without the express written permission of the Baltimore Orioles and Westinghouse Broadcasting Company is prohibited. The Orioles lead 6-1 as we go to the ninth, and even though Mike Messina has retired 14 consecutive hitters and has thrown only 91 pitches, Johnny Oates will bring in Jim Poole to get in some work, I assume.
Well, I don't know, Mel. Messina and the Orioles steamed through the first 8 innings. And Messina certainly hasn't reached the 120-pitch plateau we talked about earlier. As a matter of fact, he's only thrown 91 through 8 innings, so I'm not sure why you relieve him here. I would think the complete game, finishing it in a majestic way, as could have been expected here on opening day, would have been the best thing to do, because he was dispatching this team in quick order.
Messina went 8 strong innings, allowing only 1 run on just 2 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 2 and gave up a home run to Mike Mcfarland, accounting for the only Royal run. But that has to be a very positive sign for Messina and for the Orioles in light of his poor spring training. I'm sure it's helped his confidence a lot, pitching so well today. He can look ahead to his next start now with a clear mind.
Absolutely. That little boost in confidence is something we mentioned early on in this show.
Switch hitting Vince Coleman will bat right-handed against Poole. He was 0 for 3 batting left-handed today against Messina. Vince is grounded out, struck out, and fly to left.
You got to get Vince Coleman on base. He's got to do it. You want to make something happen out there.
0-2 to Coleman. Jim Poole did not have a very good spring. He was 0-2 with a 6.92 earned run average, and in 13 innings gave up 17 base hits.
But again, maybe just like Messina, he's going to kick it into gear here as the season begins. Wouldn't be surprised.
Slider is ripped foul. By the way, the attendance this afternoon on opening day is 47,549, the second largest crowd in the history of this stadium. The only larger crowd was for the All-Star game last year, drawing 48,147.
Everyone couldn't wait for the season to begin. Most people in the area suffered through what was really a brutal winter.
1-2 the count. The Orioles have eliminated a lot of the comp tickets that were given away in the past, so I think you're going to see some record-breaking crowds this year. There won't be many of those freebies. They'll be all sold.
Which is the way it should be.
2-2. There are a few tickets remaining for Wednesday's game. We understand there are about 3,000 left for Wednesday's game. Friday's game has about 5,000 left. And Saturday's game, about 2,000 remaining. So there are still some tickets available if you're interested in seeing the Orioles. Strike 3. Poole gets a strikeout.
Pretty much the typical style and repertoire that we've seen from Poole for several years. Fastball, slider, finishing them off, polishes them off with his breaking ball right here. Will throw that pitch at any time in the count. You see that thing skid right across the plate.
1 out in the ninth, and Brian Mcrae, another switch hitter up. He takes a pitch low. Mcrae has lined to second, walked, and grounded to second. Mcrae got picked off after drawing a 2-out walk into third. He represented a tying run at that point. Mike Messina picked him off. That was a big play.
No one that we've seen takes liberties with Messina when he's on the mound.
3-0. Jim Poole is an avid comic book collector, and I'm sure very happy that one of the Orioles' 21 owners is Steve Jeffy, a comic book magnate. I asked Steve if Poole had requested a comic book clause in his contract. Foul ball, 3-2. Mike Messina has to feel gratified by his performance this afternoon, giving up just 1 run on only 2 hits. Had a good fastball for 8 innings. began to mix in his other pitches gradually, mostly going with the hard stuff. And Poole walks Brian Mcrae. That'll bring up Wally Joyner, who contributed to the Orioles' cause today with an error on a routine ground ball in the 6th that led to a 2-run inning.
Well, you won't see him make many like that. And the ball was struck hard, and he expected it to come up, and it didn't. He's getting closer with a wallop here.
Now, if he played regularly in this park, he would hit some home runs.
Oh, yeah. Because he lofts the ball into the air a lot. He doesn't have tremendous bat speed, but he does take a nice, healthy stroke.
Strike one. As we said earlier, he has been hurt by the spaciousness of Ewing Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. In 2 years with the Royals, he's hit only 5 home runs at home and 19 on the road. 1-1.
Well, Joyner lacks the power most clubs want in their first baseman. The Royals could live with that if he drove in more than 66 runs, which was high with Kansas City.
Check swing roller foul, and it's 1-2 to Joyner. When he first came up in 1986 with the Angels, he had 22 homers, drove in 100 runs his first year. The second year did even better with 34 homers and 117 RBIs. But he always maintained he was a line drive hitter who happened to hit home runs, and that's what he is, basically. The Big A, Anaheim Stadium, a better ballpark for him to hit in than Royal Stadium has been. Looked pretty good, but called a ball by the plate umpire, Jim Evans. And it's 2-2. Jim Poole last year was 2-1 with a 2.15 earned run average. Gave up only 30 hits and 50 in the third innings. A looping pop fly, and that's going to drop in. And the Royals suddenly coming alive in the 9th. With runners at first and second.
That's all it takes to continue a little rally like this. These kinds of little rallies feed upon themselves.
And now coming up is Mike Mcfarland, who has hammered the ball hard twice. He had a home run in the 4th and just missed in the 7th. And Johnny Oates is going to go to his bullpen for the right-hander Mills.
But you see, we had a game here moving along very rapidly. Messina having absolutely no trouble moving through this lineup. And then all of a sudden the relievers start coming in. Then you start running into some difficulties in a game in which Messina had only thrown 91 pitches.
Well, I guess Johnny wanted to get his bullpen some work, but you start getting a couple of people on here and somebody hits one out, you got a whole new situation.
That's why you got spring training. They got their work done in spring.
Reminder, our next telecast will be on Wednesday. 7:35 start. Ben Mcdonald facing David Cohn. That'll be on HTS. Tom Davis will be along with a Rolling Rock Orioles report beginning at 7 o'clock preceding the game. So Jim Poole leaves after giving up a walk and a bloop single by Wally Joyner, and Alan Mills comes in to face Mike Mcfarland.
Well, the hope is that you put an end to this budding rally right here. And that's what manager Johnny Oates is hoping for. I mean, Mills has a capability with that hard fastball of his that dives at the plate and also takes off in that hard slider.
Mike Mcfarland does not have a lot of at-bats against Alan Mills, but he's been quite productive. He's been up 6 times against him, has 4 hits, and 2 of them are home runs. 2 homers, a double, and a single.
Mcfarland can crank on gas because he's got good bat speed, as we mentioned. But there are the remaining relievers in the bullpen for manager Johnny Oates. He only used 2. His availability is a quota of 6.
And with Mills coming into the game, Lee Smith now gets up in the bullpen. The Royals are beginning to get themselves back into this game with a walk and a single.
Mcfarland's not going to have any problems getting around on Mills because he specializes in fastball to hit.
Mills this spring was 2-0 with a 2.65 earned run average. He got into 7 games and made 4 starts. There's Big Lee Smith, the closer. The Orioles hoping they won't have to go to him to finish this game. Mills made 4 starts this spring, although Johnny Oates maintained all along that he was going to be used out of the bullpen. But I really think they were protecting themselves in the event that somebody broke down. Sid Fernandez got hurt, developed bursitis. Arthur Rhodes was struggling. So it gave them some protection in case they had to use a reliever as a starter.
Right. Well, Mills has developed into a solid setup man.
So here we go. Runners at first and second. 1 out. The Orioles lead 6-1 in the 9th. And Mike Mcfarland to face Alan Mills. Mcfarland, who set a career high last year with 20 home runs.
Well, Mills is prone to leaving the ball up in the strike zone, so that's a pretty good commitment to a swing from Mcfarland.
Fastball, but good location on the outside corner, and it's strike 1. Mcfarland has increased his home run totals each of the last 3 years. He's gone from 13 to 17 2 years ago to 20 last year. Good slider, and it's 0-2.
Well, that's what you have to deal with right there when a guy like Mills busts ahead in the count, because Mills has found a comfort zone when he comes in to pitch in the 7th and 8th innings. And now having to perhaps finish this game without Lee Smith coming in, I tell you, that's enough drive for Mills to get him going.
Trying to get him to chase a low slider, and it's 1-2, and that's the book on Mcfarland. Get ahead of him, and you can get him to chase pitches out of the strike zone. You're back.
Oh, yeah.
Where you been, Cage?
Cardiovascular workout. Up the stairs.
We sent Jim downstairs to get ready to do a post-game interview. That's not a good sign that you've come back. Not that we don't love you, but...
Well, Alan was talking today about how much work he had this spring. Got a lot more innings than he normally would because of starting a number of games. The key to him, though, is that slider, as you said. If it's sharp, fastball is so explosive, it runs all over the place. Makes the hitter look for another pitch.
Slider just off the plate, and it's 2-2.
Good hand strength when you can start the bat and hold it up and not commit on a vicious slider like that. Says, just give me a fastball about a letter high on the inside part of the plate.
Fastball, got him.
Oh,
perfect pitch.
Perfect. He blistered that thing over the outside part. He popped that one.
Well, look at it run back, too. Starts away and just comes back. So we talk about movement.
Well, that was a low-fat, high-carbohydrate fastball. That baby was cooking.
2 down in the 9th, and here's another long ball threat in Gary Gagne, who's 1 for 3 today. Slider low. Gagne at this stage of his career, pretty much a dead fastball hitter.
Oh, bat slowed down a little bit against a hard thrower like Alan Mills. You got to get it going. Yeah, Yastrzemski did at the end of his career.
I wouldn't put it past him to get it going.
Fastball in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Orioles 6, Royals 1. 2 outs in the 9th. Mills trying to slam the door on Kansas City. Fastball, ground ball on the right side, and through for a base hit. Brian Mcrae will come in to score to make it 6-2, and the Royals are still alive. Gaette's second hit of the game, and the run is charged to Jim Poole.
Well, they're taking a step closer, because if not for that strikeout that Mills got, they'd have been knocking on the door.
And now the left-hand hitting Bob Hamlin coming up with runners at first and second and 2 outs. It's 6-2 Orioles. Hamlin, who has power, he's been likened to a former Royal, Steve Balboni. About the same size. They both hit home runs. Fastball in there, strike one.
Well, that's the one you want to lift on in this park. I just don't think it's wise to put yourself in a hole when you got someone throwing as hard as Mills is out on the mound when he has that slider working. You know, it's nice to take a pitch every now and then, hope the pitcher's a little wild, but Mills not giving any indication of that.
1-1. This is Hamlin's first at bat against Alan Mills. Hamlin, who hit 29 home runs last year in the American Association with Omaha. Fastball is stroked into left field. Wally Joyner is heading home, and it's 6-3, and this one is beginning to unravel.
I'm telling you now, don't go to the bullpen unless it's absolutely necessary in a game where the pitcher is just absolutely throttling the opposition.
Well, Mike Messina had retired 14 consecutive hitters through 8 innings, had thrown only 91 pitches. Johnny Oates brought in Jim Poole. They gave up a walk and a single. Now Mills has given up 2 hits and let in 2 runs, and the Royals are back in the game.
It's not automatic that you have to go to the bullpen in the 9th inning for anyone, especially when the starter is throwing the kind of game that Mike Messina was throwing. Now they get another run right here. It comes home. That makes it a much closer ball game, and actually got to come to the plate.
Yes, the tie and run.
Yes.
That's the guy you worry about.
And now this become a save situation for baseball's all-time saves leader, Lee Smith. The Orioles can't afford to let this one get away. That would be a demoralizing blow after leading 6-1 into the 9th.
Well, the big question, you know, how's the bullpen going to do? How's the pitching in general going to do? But specifically, who's going to close games? All-time save leader. Last year, 46 saves, 43 with the St. Louis Cardinals in a huge ballpark, 43 with the Yankees at the end of the year in a limited service. Now he comes to a small ballpark. He's up in age, lost a little bit on the fastball, slider, threw 11 home runs in 50-plus innings last year. Really a lot of questions answered right here. A situation John Oates would not like to have seen. Not to have to use his closer, but he's going to have to, and it will be in a clutch situation, which is the way he's going to be used all year long.
Well, the Royals mounting a rally in the 9th. They have scored twice to cut the Oriole lead to 6-3. Jim Poole struck out the first batter. Then Brian Mcrae walked. Wally Joyner blooped a base hit to left. Mills came out of the bullpen and struck out Mike Mcfarland. But Gary Gaetti singled in a run. Bob Hamlin singled in the second run of the inning, and it's 6-3 Orioles with 2 down in the 9th.
Well, ideally, and maybe ideals have absolutely nothing to do with the game of baseball, but ideally you want to be in the clubhouse now eating sandwiches and popping a cerveza. I mean, that's where they should be right now after the kind of game Messina gave them through 8 innings. And I hate the kind of strategy we see in Major League Baseball today about managers having to go to the bullpen for some specific, non-specific reason and fetching the bullpen in just to get the relievers into the game. We're going to put a halt to that.
You know, unless Johnny Oates asked Mike Messina if he was tired, and he said yes, but I doubt it. He only threw 91 pitches, nice cool day, and he appeared to have plenty left. He'd retired 14 in a row.
Sure. Well, we're only speculating up here. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what the pitch count was.
91.
Oh, 91. So I assume, you know, the one thing good about having a bad spring is you get to that 91 pitch count. in a hurry if you're struggling in the spring. He only went 6 2/3 inning was the most that Mike was able to pitch down there, but I'm sure that he got at least 90 pitches in that outing because they weren't good outings.
We all heard you say 120 pitches, so that's what we're basing.
Well, that's the number that
on.
that's what they talked about.
The big guy's in there now. Fondly calls himself the old man.
And after sitting around for 8 innings, the bullpen is up in anger now. Eichhorn and Pennington throwing as Lee Smith comes into the game, facing Dave Henderson, throughout his career, one of the best clutch hitters in baseball.
Well, one of the most dramatic home runs. I was doing the American League Championship Series, 2 strikes, 1 strike away from the Boston Red Sox. He was playing for the Red Sox at the time, being eliminated. He hits a 2-strike home run to tie up the ball game, and the Red Sox go on to win in 7 games and end up losing to the Mets in the 1986 World Series. And the guy you're looking at did it.
Runners at first and second, 2 outs, 6-3 Orioles in the 9th. Smith to Henderson. Fastball for a strike.
Hello.
I mean, one thing about Lee Smith, doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but he's got a slider, he's got a fork ball, and the one thing he's always had is good control. He's intimidating at 6'6", about 250 pounds. He's been working on a sidearm delivery to give the hitter another window to look at. Didn't have a chance to work on it very much in spring training, though. I doubt if he's going to go with a new delivery here in a clutch situation.
Ground ball to the third baseman. Sabo to second. That's the ball game. So Lee Smith comes on to pick up a save. And the Orioles hold off the Kansas City Royals 6-3. The totals for the Orioles: 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors, and 7 left. For Kansas City, 3 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors, and 4 men left on base. Mike Messina gets the win, a save for Lee Smith, and Kevin Napier takes the loss. So opening day is a rousing success. Over 47,000 on hand to see the Orioles beat the Kansas City Royals 6-3.
Because most of our flights are short, this is what our meals look like on Southwest Airlines. It's also what our fares look like. Southwest Airlines, it's just plain smart. Frequent flyers on most airlines are thousands of miles from a free trip. But on Southwest Airlines, our company club frequent flyer members are only 8 short round trips away. Southwest Airlines Company Club, the shortest route to free trips.
Friday, it's the WNUV 54 Orioles season opener. Off-season, the O's raided the Rangers for slugger Raphael Palmeiro. Now, Jose Canseco and company aim to pay back our power-packed O's. The WNUV 54 Orioles season opener, Friday at 7:30 on WNUV 54.
Here's what it's like to spend a few moments with Capital star Dale Hunter during the Cap playoff drive.
Now Dale Hunter is there, and they score!
The Islanders face an entire game with Dale Hunter and the Capitals. Tuesday night at 7:30, only on HTS.
Fair warning.
They'll be dancing in the streets of Baltimore tonight as the Orioles have beaten the Kansas City Royals 6-3. The Orioles getting 8 strong innings from Mike Messina, who retired the last 14 hitters he faced to pick up the win. Bullpen struggled a little bit in the 9th with the Royals scoring twice, but the Orioles hold on to win it 6-3, and we'll have more from the yard in a moment.
Grandpa Shaq, tell us how basketball used to be.
Well, the basket wasn't always 20 feet tall.
What about 100-yard courts?
Not even close.
What happened?
All sport.
New All Sport. Unsurpassed taste. A third more carbs than Gatorade for energy. This is a body quencher.
After All Sport, the game was a breeze. Until they put in the moving basket.
All Sport. The game will never be the same.
Go Sports! HTS!
for NBA action. A high-flying hoop show that's on top of the game. You get it all.
Here's Isaiah.
The hottest players and teams. Your favorite personality. And the greatest plays of the week. All this and more coming your way in NBA action.
Every Tuesday night at 6:30, only on HTS.
Forget buying a new car. Buy the car you own, a Recon remanufactured engine, for less than a new car down payment, as low as $829 exchange. It's guaranteed for 12 months or 36,000 miles. With your Recon engine, you receive up to 5 quarts of Quaker State oil, up to 2 gallons of antifreeze, an oil filter, up to 8 spark plugs, thermostat and gasket, and a can of hand cleaner, all included, as low as $829 exchange. All 5 Metro Auto Parts stores: Rosedale, Arbutus, Aberdeen, Elkton, and Bel Air.
You're watching WJZ-TV with Baltimore's most watched 6 p.m. newscast. In real-time closed captioning for the hearing impaired. This is Eyewitness News at 6 with Al Sanders and Denise Koch.
The ball is in the air again. Baltimore's Birds are back.
And another sellout crowd helps to open a special season of Orioles baseball at Camden Yards.
We have team coverage of this opening day in Baltimore.
Beginning with sports director John Buren, who has a live report on day 1 of Orioles Magic at the Yard. John?
What a day, huh? We're down here on the field, down in the right field corner, as you can see, and it was just a great day for baseball. A happy crowd is filing out at Camden Yards as the Birds get the best of the Kansas City Royals. 6-3 was the final count on just a dead perfect day for baseball down here at the ballpark. The crowd started filing in early. It was a magnificent day. Temperatures got up near 70 degrees. This is a team that many people think is going to go on and win the division, and today they look like it. Bottom of the 4th, tied at 1. Mark Mclemore at the plate, got Hoyles on second base, sends a base hit right field. Hoyles has got green light. He's coming around third base. You're going to get a throw at the plate. Hoyles is way behind the throw, but Mcfarland loses the ball in the tag. Hoyles scores to break the 1-1 tie. That put the Orioles on the lead for good. And what can you say about Mike Messina? He was magnificent. 2 strikeouts. He retired the last 14 batters he faced. He goes 8 innings of 2-hit ball. He gets the win. The save goes to Lee Smith as the Orioles win it 6-3 on opening day at Camden Yards. What a great way to get this 94 season started after such a terrible winter, and all the expectations and hopes and prayers of so many Oriole fans all over the state of Maryland. Today, certainly a gratifying day for everybody. And our Chris Ely is standing by live down at the Orioles dugout. Chris?
Okay, John, of course, the Orioles getting off to a fine start in the first inning, and the man responsible for that, the home run hitter, Mike Devereaux. Mike, you came on strong the tail end of spring training. You turned it on today with a home run in the first inning. That must have felt awfully fine.
Yeah, it did feel great. Biagini and I have been working real hard towards the end of spring training, and I have been throwing well. And I'm just happy to come into the first day and have a good day.
Had a pretty good spring training, and you come out here, you got a packed house. Could there have been a better way to start the season, a season of real promise for this ball club?
Oh, there's no doubt. We have Raphael hitting behind me, and Junior and Harold, who did a great job today. And it's, to have those guys hitting behind me, it's just great. Couldn't be any better for me.
The suspicion is this team going in. There was no suspicion about the offense at all. We knew you'd be able to put the numbers up. Maybe a little question about the pitching, especially about Mike Messina, but he comes out, blew him away. 2-hitter, only gave up 1 run.
Yeah, well, the thing is, although he didn't have a great spring, he said he was ready to pitch, and we all had confidence in him. And look what he did. He came out and did a great job for us. And that's, I mean, Mike is one of the easiest pitchers to play behind. He works fast, gets ahead of the hitters, and gets us out of the outfield, out of the defense in a hurry to let us come back and hit. So it's great to play behind him.
No problem at all going against Kevin Apier, one of the premier pitchers in the American League.
Well, I wouldn't say it was no problem. We just kind of nipped at him. Every inning we seemed to get him in trouble, and that's the way you win ball games.
Okay, Mike, once again, congratulations on the home run. Mike Devereaux hitting the home run to get the Orioles started off on their victory today. Now back to John.
All right, thank you, Chris. The home run by Devereaux got him started. Raphael Palmeiro hit one over the fence also. And as we said, Lee Smith with the save today. So 2 of the key acquisitions during the offseason coming through for the Orioles today, and Lee Smith and Raphael Palmeiro. Wonderful day for baseball, a wonderful day just to be out in the sunshine. And Deb Stone was down here all day enjoying that and getting around and talking to folks and getting sort of the flavor of this opening day, which is always such a huge event in Baltimore. A lot of fun today, wasn't it, Deb?
It was a great day, and, you know, there's something very special about baseball for everybody here in Baltimore, and something even better about the first game of the season. It's not easy to put into words, but it's very simple to put into pictures.
The good times started early at Oriole Park. Fans began pouring through the gates 3 hours before game time. Lucky ones got autographs from their old favorites like Tippy Martinez. Some even got a taste of real Orioles magic.
Now, if you're going to steal home, you have to be quick because the pitcher only has to throw and he's got you. So he would be quick, it would look like that.
Once inside, it wasn't long before folks started spending money.
Get your opening day papers for 5 cents each.
They bought programs, souvenirs, and yes, tons of food.
We had to prep, cook, cut, season 837 pounds of beef. Then we had to do another 200 for the crowd.
For those who want a taste of the unusual, this year you can support Maryland businesses when you buy a beer.
Peter Angelos is local ownership, and now we've got some local beers here. 6 different microbrews from around the state of Maryland are represented here.
But there's more of the familiar than the unfamiliar. Some things just never change. There's a kind of unifying force among children here today. They all want baseballs, and they all want to see their favorite player.
Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken and some other people.
Well, as Cal and some other people warmed up on the field, baseball fans tried to express what it is they love about opening day.
I love baseball. There's no place in the world I'd rather be than here.
Hope springs eternal. On opening day, everybody's in first place.
Well, it's a new season. It's spring has sprung, and it's just a great time for baseball.
I talked with several people from out of town today. They were all Orioles fans, and here we are at the 3rd season at Camden Yards. They are still, John, talking about our beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, people still making trips to come see here. This is much an attraction as the ball team,
Absolutely.
But today the team was the story. 6-3 over the Kansas City Royals. We'll be back with more live from the ballpark a little bit later down here on the field in the right field corner. But for now, John Buren along with Deb Stone sending it back up high atop Television Hill, Denise Now.
Oh, don't you love it? Everybody's in first place on opening. Well, at least we know we are after this game.
And it was beautiful out there, too.
Yes.
It was the best opening day.
All right. Well, since today's grand opening at the Yard was sold out, what's new? Many fans needing tickets were forced to hunt for scalpers, and sure enough, there was no shortage of people willing to part with their coveted opening day tickets for a price. And though scalping tickets is illegal, some told us today they can make thousands selling their tickets far above face value.
Today, the tickets are going from anywhere from $75 to $150. If you want cheap seats, the cheapest probably you're going to get in for is like $60 if you're lucky. Other than that, you can forget it. You might as well just go to a bar, watch it on TV.
The scalper in those sneakers told us he expected to make $4,000 today. So not only is this the Orioles' 40th opening day in Baltimore, but it's also a special day for one local family.
Team coverage reporter Melissa Sanders says 3 generations from one family turned out to cheer on the O's together today. Melissa?
Well, Harry Vietitz has been kept away from the game for quite some time, 87 years old, but he had a stroke. Today, he's returned. He's very excited for the first time to see the O's play in person here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Harry and his son Chick really built their father-son relationship around this team, and now they're passing on that thrill to the next generation.
Yes, it's part of American life. If you didn't have baseball, you'd miss a whole lot. Look, Jonathan, look at all the people there. Yeah.
The first view is breathtaking for Harry Vietitz, who knew Old Memorial Stadium inside and out as part of the security team in the 60s and 70s, when he'd often sneak in his son, Chick.
When I used to come down to it, when it was possible, I'd take a hand of the stuff, so you let him go in.
Harry and Chick were there for the first ever O's game.
I don't really remember the very first opening day in 1954, but I mean...
How old were you?
I was just a little past 5.
The age of Chick's son, Jonathan.
But my father used to tell me how he would come out the park and he liked baseball, and he passed it on to me, and I passed it on to Chick. Chick had passed it on to his son, Jonathan.
Was hit to the second baseman. He stayed in front of it. He got his glove down and went in. He got it. It's really the first opportunity all three of us have gone to a ball game together. It's nice to have that opportunity before I lose the opportunity to have him here with Jonathan so we can all see a ball game together. You're hearing all the names? That was the new guy, Chris Sabo.
Do you know how long your grandpa's been going to see baseball games? No. 80 years. Jonathan, do you think it's important to be here with your grandpa?
Yes. Yes.
How come?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe when he's a little older, Jonathan will